Baseball is winning on the Betql network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the Betql network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the Betql network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the Betql network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the Betql network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the Betql network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from QL Sunday Service starts now. With Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
Well, good morning, North America, degenerates, casuals alike. How are you? It's August 25th. The year is 2024. Two more BetQL 5-Star weekends to go until NFL and college football program fully takes over the beautiful BetQL network with major shakeups. Geez, throughout the week. Intrigued by that. Good luck to all in their new positions. I'm Sean Morash. He's Patty Boyle. Patty, good morning.
Good morning, Shawnee. Yeah, a lot of shakeups indeed. And something that I ran by our friend Ryan Horvath on Friday night on BetMGM tonight, and something I want to run by you at some point during the show today. Make sure we block off a couple minutes to talk about it. How walking bets have caused chaos and has wreaked havoc on the sports betting community. So I would definitely want to hit on that at some point during the show.
So full disclosure, as soon as I left this show last Sunday, I went on vacation. I was up in Lake George, upstate New York with my family. I briefly saw this. Full disclosure, I obviously, with Lucy Burge being a member of the BetQL, it's funny, I forgot she was BetQL. Like I just know her from working with her. But yes, being part of our network, this is meant of no disrespect. And I'm sure I'm in the minority in this. I have no idea who the other person was. Taylor Matt, never heard of her. Never heard of her. So more on that later. Do we know where she works? I don't. It's
just that she infiltrated my timeline a couple of weeks ago, and then caused quite the stir when I guess she started responding to comments in the comment section in Twitter, which is never a good place to start, right? Because you're really not going to find positivity there, even if you are an attractive-looking woman. So, I'm not sure, but this was brought to my attention a couple of days ago.
All right, so we'll have fun with that later. I mean, what a novel concept, videoing yourself as you give picks. Real original. Nobody should ever do it again. No problem. Okay, now, football has been played. The NFL preseason is over, Pat, and college football week 0 was here. And was here with a lot of theatrics and dramatics that we're going to hit on throughout the show, including right here, hot takes and hot cakes. Let's get it started.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
Tony, don't jump the gun really quickly. Don't jump the gun on the NFL preseason being over. We still got 3 games that I'm going to be trying to bet the under on today, or possibly a total in 2 of these games, Pally.
You're right. That was more of just me as a giant content creator dealing with that. I forgot about the Sunday games. You're absolutely right. I mean, jeez. More on the NFL preseason a little bit, because even as a gambler, it's like I'm becoming, I don't know if it's me. It's the old man in me. I used to love the NFL preseason. This year has just worn me out. I'm good on it. Anywho, raise your hand, Pat, as I start with hot takes and hot cakes, if you ended up very much on the positive side with college football bets yesterday. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I don't see Pat raising his hand. I'm not raising my hand. Do you know why that is? Because the books cleaned up in a big way. And this is where I start off with my hot take. Be very wary. The sports books are already fooling you when you look at Georgia Tech winning outright, Nevada blowing a game late but they still cover. Hawaii doesn't cover a spread in the 30s versus Delaware State at a game that ended at 3:30 this morning. Ben Fawkes on X. Georgia Tech plus 10.5 with their upset over number 10 Florida State 24-21. It was a big win for the sports books. 3 odds makers on the game. Quote, colossal parlays, teasers, etc., all being busted. Overall, pretty positive result. Only thing we needed was the over for a perfect result. And there you go. Yesterday, the sports books absolutely raked their Pat, which has me letting everybody know you're already likely in a hole if you're waking up this morning. All right, if you happen to bet Georgia Tech money line, bless your heart. If you bet Nevada to cover that 26.5 point spread, bless your heart. If you bet Delaware State to cover, if you had Montana State and you got screwed left and right, it was unreal yesterday. The only thing I hit was a bet I gave last week, thank goodness, which was that under in the Florida State-Georgia Tech game. But even that was dicey. If Georgia Tech shanks that field goal, that game's going to overtime, and it's going over. We're going to embark on real week 1 in college football. You got your feet wet. You got your toes wet. Look out for those vulnerabilities. The books are absolutely smacking their lips, and they want to get you. If you remember last year, in the NFL specifically, the books actually took, at worst, a break-even kind of spot on many weeks last year because they just couldn't figure things out. It was a very topsy-turvy year betting on football, and already the books have a jump on it. There are going to be games next week that you look at, and some of them we've already talked about. Georgia laying the 14. I keep hammering this, don't be trap picking Clemson with the points, but now I even have to second guess a little bit and go, am I missing something? Is that too many points there? I'm going to give out a hot cake in hour number 3 that now I'm firmly solidified on after yesterday's game on an underdog getting points. I am telling you, these big numbers in college football versus ass schools, and you know nothing about them. Don't kid yourself if you're betting like you know nothing about. You knew nothing about Nevada at home yesterday. You knew nothing about Delaware State in the middle of the night last night. You didn't really know much about Georgia Tech. Heck, you probably didn't know much about number 10 Florida State other than that number 10 next to them. College football has a lot of blind betting that you almost trust the books to speak to you. Well, the book spoke wrong to you yesterday, and you're in a hole as a result. Do your research before you bet week 1 next week, Pat Boyle.
Yeah, that's a good point, Shawnee. I know you have a point that is specific to the Florida State game next hour, but I just want to say, my overall reaction from that game, because we're all starved for college football. Pat McAfee's talking about doing mushrooms and edibles, and he's getting absolutely
he's got a
hammered on live television. But I think it's
hold on, Pat. Pat, hold on. Before you get to your point, let me just say this about Pat McAfee. We have officially, and I think well beyond gotten to this point of just these 3 words of Pat McAfee. We get it. You're the cool bro that pounds beers and, whatever, will hit shrooms and just fist pump and jump into lakes and everything. Like, we get the Pat McAfee shtick. We can calm down now. All right, we get it. All right, go on.
Okay. Yeah. I don't necessarily mind it. I just like seeing how, 4-letter network kind of puts all these rules, and it's Disney, and then he's on there literally talking about being high as what on the plane, a story. I was high yesterday, and he's literally like hammered, and I'm in the front row, hammered drunk, right? To quote the great Talladega Nights. So I just like seeing him break the rules, and basically ESPN's like, yeah, we're not going to really do anything because we paid him $80 million. So I find that kind of funny, and I do think he's entertaining. So, all right, moving on. The Florida State Georgia Tech.
Anywho,
in the homeland, in Dublin. And I should have said, and by the way, phenomenal radio call. I was doing an update anchor shift yesterday, and the final call of the Georgia Tech game-winning field goal, the guy goes, I think his name's Andy Demetrius, shout out him. He goes, it's not the luck of the Irish, it's the heart of the Jackets. So it was a phenomenal game. Really?
Yeah, he happens to be really good friends with Damon Amendola, a DA, who we all know well, obviously over at Mad Dog Radio now in Sirius. They went to college together. So when we were down in Atlanta for Super Bowl, we hung out, had a couple beers together. Very good guy. I'm happy he had that moment yesterday.
Nice little plug there for you and for him. So as a Florida State minus 10.5 better, and then as somebody that said, okay, Florida State's down here, I can get them at minus 2.5. Yes, I'm going to take them. So I took them live as well. So, yeah, big stinker there. I think my overall takeaway, just in terms of the game itself, we can talk about all the betting things and elsewhere. I don't want to take away any credit from Brent Key. That Georgia Tech team is tough. They are scrappy. They had 2 ranked wins last year. They gave Georgia a hell of a fight in the last week of the year. So maybe I don't know why I got blinded by. So again, no credit taken away from Brent Key and the Yellow Jackets. They're a tough team. He is a culture builder. He's pounding nails. He's laying brick by brick, man, building a pretty nice, solid foundation. But that does not excuse Mike Norvell, and that does not excuse the most fraudulent, washed quarterback in college football, DJ Uiagalelei. What a disappointing performance. I mean, you talk about a guy that we had talked about him over the last couple of weeks. I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Correct.
Kind of rejuvenated himself last year at Oregon State, right? Was under the radar, didn't have all the lights on him, nothing about a big 5-star, can't miss quarterback anymore. Had a good season with the Beavers last year. His head coach leaves to take the Michigan State job. Now he's back under a winning coach, Mike Norvell. That team's got a ton of, even though there's a lot of guys that left, but still the guys that were on that 13-0 squad that last year that got denied a CFP bid, they got a ton of motivation. They got a ton of juice. Nothing better they want to do than go out there and lay a smackdown on Georgia Tech. And DJ Uiagalelei's got Benson. He's got good weapons to throw the ball to. And what does he do? Doesn't even throw for a single touchdown pass. Can't push the ball down the field for the majority of the game. Half of his yards came on their last drive where they converted 2 fourth downs. 2 fourth downs against zone coverage where he actually made the right read and the guy was wide open, was butt naked open. Outside of that, for the majority of the game, the Georgia Tech corners and defensive backs were just like, go ahead and beat us deep because we know you can't. Right, and DJU, his accuracy down the field was atrocious. His decision-making was atrocious. His time in the pocket, atrocious. So for a guy that I had bought a lot of stock in this offseason, I was like, you know what, the ACC kind of stinks. It's like, all right, this conference is up for grabs. I don't trust Mario Cristobal in Miami. I don't trust Dabo Swinney and Cade Klubnik in Clemson. So by default, I'm like, all right, DJU, nice job last year at Oregon State. Even if he's a shred of the talent that we thought he would be at Clemson, they're going to run away with this conference. And nope, they go out there, and after going 13-0 last year, they can't even make it out of week 0 without a loss. So DJU, I was fooled by. And as the great song goes, we won't get fooled again, because I'll be looking to bet against Florida State their next big game, or even against the next time that they are double-digit favorites, because I don't trust DJU. He is washed.
Yeah, and great rant. They will play Monday night, Labor Day night versus Boston College. I didn't get a peek at that spread yet. Maybe that is a double-digit spread coming off there. And look, I will
17.
echo everything you said. 17? Okay, so maybe you're on Boston College that Monday night. Look, I will echo everything you said. I'm in complete lockstep with everything you said. But here's the truth. No matter how disappointing his effort was, when you have a moment like you have, as a college football defense, a gift like you have, when Mike King drops back, or Hayden, what the heck's the kid's name? King. What's his first name? I forgot. The Georgia Tech quarterback. Haynes King. When he botches that snap and goes back and he puts you on a 3rd and 17 with time ticking away, with the kicker that everybody at Georgia Tech seems to love. However, he misses a kick early in that game. When that team, who Georgia Tech notoriously is not a down-the-field passing offense, and they weren't yesterday, can complete a screen and go up the field for 12 yards to set up a much easier field goal attempt to bury you. That is atrocious defense for a team in the top 10. Now, look, I know college football is not the NFL when it comes to loaded defenses, and those teams that tend to have them, Georgia, Alabama, when you have a big-time defense that seems to carry you a long way, a lot of times these defenses are very shoddy, maybe 1 or 2 NFL players at best on them. I'm sorry, Pat. You have a team tied up like that, and they give you a gift of a botched snap, and they just simply run a little quick screen. You can't give up 12 yards and set up the field goal. DJ Uiagalelei not. The defense absolutely blew that game yesterday very late. You have to make a stop and cannot give up 12 yards there.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And the defense let them down the entire second half. I mean, Brent Key said it after the game. He goes, we're just going to run the ball, right? That's how you win college football games. You can move the ball. They did it. Florida State could not stop a nosebleed in terms of Georgia Tech's running game. Haynes King, the quarterback, and Jamal Haynes, who ran for 2 tutties. That was it. Eat up clock, eat up clock, nom, 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 nom. Eat up clock, because Florida State couldn't stop the run. And again, Georgia Tech knew on defense, hey, they can't beat us deep, so we'll just keep everything in front of us. And if not for 2 fourth-down conversions, this game doesn't even get to a last-second field goal. Georgia Tech ends up winning this by a touchdown.
Yeah, and lastly, just quickly, maybe I'm the only one locked in because I had the over 55.5. The game ends, by the way, at 55 with Nevada and SMU last today. A big safety late. Look, my God. Can we stop trying to get into field goal territory and settle for field goals? I know it worked for Georgia Tech. Can we push for a little touchdown? Got absolutely burned last night, Pat, because like an idiot, I took the under I loved in the Florida State game and parlayed it with the over in the SMU Georgia Tech game. 55.5. The number falls at 55. Absolutely screwed me. And last but not least, my other week 0 takeaway. Perhaps I never paid attention this early. It is August 25th today. Last night was August 24th. The fact that it is that cold in Reno that I got people dressed like they're at the Iditarod for a game tells me one thing and one thing only. I will never visit that city. I don't care how many crap casinos you put in it. If it's that cold in August that people are wearing beanies like Avril Lavigne, I'm out. I am so out on visiting Reno, Nevada.
Really quickly in 5 seconds. Really quickly before we break here in 5 seconds. 29-24, that's 53 points, Sean. It's not 55.
Oh, you know why they missed the 2-point conversion at the end of the game? It would have been 55 anyway had they hit the 2-point. All right, we'll be back. More BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. The 7 to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds? I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds? I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today.
Ooh, new taglines. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. Sean Morash, Pat Boyle. Can you just feel it? I mean, Pat, right away, our conversation in segment 1. Didn't that feel good? And I love Major League Baseball. I love the NBA and NHL postseason. We have been March Madness, all the fortunate stuff we got to cover and talk about and digest and win and lose and win and lose as we have done this show that is coming to its seasonal end next week. Boy, it felt good to have the rush of breaking down moments in a football game and moments from a week in football, as little as week 0 is. Didn't you get that little tickle? A little tickle on the Patty Boyles down underneath?
Yeah, so as you like to call it, the undercarriage. Yeah, I mean, dude, I was, like I said, I did an update shift yesterday, and there was an old timers day for the Yankee game. They're pathetic, by the way. So I didn't have to. I was only doing national sports updates, so it was 1 hour, and in between, I'm kicked up. I'm watching Florida State, Georgia Tech. I'm screaming at DJ, "You throw the ball down the field!" I'm yelling at Mike Norvell to stop the run, and then I'm watching Montana State, New Mexico, and like I said to you in the break, I did hit on Nevada live. To cover the spread, but I also lost Montana State, New Mexico, because I'm watching Montana State. They're giving up strip sack for touchdown left and right, and I'm like, hey, New Mexico's they're gonna win this game. So I took New Mexico live, and then they give up a 21 spot in the fourth quarter in a blink of an eye. So, but yeah, I mean, it was good just to watch live games, man. Even though, again, I will never, for the rest of the year, never watch a Montana State or New Mexico game. I'm being honest, right? I'm not like our pal Douglas Farmer, who we had on BetMGM tonight on Friday night, and he's jacked to no end about Montana State, New Mexico. He's juiced through the roof for SMU, Nevada. Good for you. Maybe I'll watch an SMU game when because they're in the ACC this year, but I will never watch another Montana State, New Mexico game this year, and I will never watch another Hawaii game the rest of this year. So help me God. So yes, it was great to watch college football games, but Patty wants the entree. Patty wants the main courses now.
The entree's coming. The entree's coming. You'll start it off Thursday night, a little Friday night tickle, and then a Saturday full bore. What do you do Saturday? Come over my house Saturday. A little open invite. We got a big week 1 college football party. Big one. So Shawnee, I appreciate the invite. I would love to make the trek out to Long Island. I will be kind of close to Long Island. I'll be at the U.S. Open. I'm taking my brother to the U.S. Open on Saturday. Yeah, that's right.
I'll be there.
That's right.
I'll be following. I have Georgia Clemson on my phone while we're popping around watching tennis, and then I got an update shift overnight Saturday. So that is that kind of puts a dent in what would have otherwise. Like I definitely would have come over afterwards, but
what are you gonna do? Hey, That's all right. We press on. But with that being said, week 1 of college football is here. You saw yesterday 4 dogs. Who loves a hot dog? I do. A little ketchup, pop it in your mouth. 4 dogs covered yesterday, which means all of the teams that get set to really start their seasons in week 1, they got to be feeling a little vulnerability. Because you don't want to see your season look a little vulnerability. So we are going to rank here the top 5 team. Excuse me? You got a problem? I'm having a little fun, Pat.
Is that even a real song, or did you just make that up?
No, you see, I live with my 2 daughters who make up words to songs constantly. So now I'm getting used to it. Finally, it's happened to me. That's a real song. Pat doesn't know. CC. What?
Yes, it is. That's Natasha Bedingfield.
No, it's not.
Finally,
CC Pennington.
CC Pennington? That's not a real person. That's Natasha Bedingfield. Any song that sounds like that one, that's Natasha Bedingfield.
Hold on. Peniston. Yes, I'm right. CC Peniston. CC Peniston.
When you called her CC Pennington, Kenny Gunner Henderson goes, yeah, Chad's sister.
CC Pennington. I was right. All right, anyway. Who are the top 5 college football teams under the most pressure in week 1? Let's do it. We have no imaging, so this is me. It's Pat Boyle and Sean Morash's 5 list at 9:20 now. All right, Pat, let's go. Number 5.
I'm going to give you Georgia. And I have a feeling, and hooked on a feeling. Maybe I saw your list. Maybe I didn't see your list, that you're going to give out Clemson. I will say this. Are we going to be crushing Dabo Swinney? I mean, sure. If Clemson gets blown out by 30 points, absolutely. But for the most part, I think 99.9% of people expect this to be a Georgia win by 10 to 14 points, probably somewhere right on that spread. I mean, who knows? The books couldn't be more wrong. And we, as a collective betting unit, if you bet unless you bet all underdogs, congratulations. You're a very, very rich man. You can go ahead and buy your family a nice steak dinner tonight. But otherwise, a lot of us were collectively wrong on the spreads yesterday. So it could be wrong on this spread. Maybe Clemson all of a sudden, Dabo Swinney's got something cooking, even though we know exactly who that team is, because he doesn't use the transfer portal, because he doesn't know how to use it. Right? I pictured Dabo Swinney like at a computer, and he's like, how do I use this transfer portal here now? So I think there's a lot of pressure on Georgia. They have to go out and deliver. Like, Carson Beck's got to go out and deliver. That defense that lost another handful of guys to the NFL draft last year and some transfers. They've got to go out and show us that they're still the top dog here. It's an early test right away. I think we expect them to take care of business, which is why there's a lot of pressure on them to go out and actually do so. Because I don't know about you, Shawnee, as I'm doing a Brian Windhorst thing, a little Brian Windhorst double finger point. I don't think Oklahoma's going to be good, and their schedule is very, very tough. But Texas, if you like Texas, they're in the SEC now. I mean, we're running the gambit here in the SEC, so Georgia cannot afford a week 1 loss to Clemson when they got to play a monster SEC schedule the rest of the way, even with the 12-team college football playoff expansion. How many SEC teams do we think are getting in? 6? No. 4? Probably. But I know we all expect Georgia to be there, but I think there is pressure. That's why they're number 5 for me, but they do have to take care of business.
Okay. Number 5 for me. And again, it's just who's under the most pressure.
Sean, pause.
Yeah.
I just want to Carter Freeman, who I guess is our video producer today, is telling me Oklahoma's going to the CFP.
No, it's not I guess. He is. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the exact role is, if he's the video producer. We got like 7 guys that work on the show. I love it. I appreciate everybody that works.
He's in for Dan today. If you showed up before 8:58, you would have a nice conversation.
All right, Carter Freeman, Freddie's brother, tells me Oklahoma's going to the CFP. That might be the worst take I've ever heard. If Oklahoma goes to the college football playoff, I will find a way to get on a BetQL show at some point. I will shave my ass live on the show. I don't know what else to say. That was the first thing that came to mind.
I say this as a hairy ass sympathizer. How hairy is your ass?
That's not a lot. So it would probably hurt. It would be like shaving bare skin.
Okay, because for me, man, like I'm a bald man, as you could see here if you go to twitch.tv/BetQL. But if you pictured both of my butt cheeks to look like my bald head, now put like a flat out, fully grown toupee on both of them, I have basically 2 baboons on each of my butt cheeks. It's amazing how hairy my ass is compared to how bald I am. So when you said that, I said, wow, there are others like me.
Yeah, no, it would be painful for me because it's like, basically my face. Like if I were to just shave bare skin, it's going to hurt. So yeah, that'll be the punishment. Oklahoma might win 7 games.
So because eventually, like when you have a very hairy butt, Pat, when you sit down and you let it grow, it feels like you're sitting on like a bag of raked leaves. That sometimes happens to me. But my wife does not like when I basically shave, parts of my body that normal people don't shave in the house because like it never gets cleaned up properly. So I have to take my electric buzzer and I have to go behind my shed in the backyard so no neighbors can see. And I pull down my pants and I buzz clip my cheeks. And I do it like once every 2 weeks.
You do that in the backyard next to the shed, like a wild animal.
Yeah. I have to. My wife doesn't like it being a mess. So if you flew a drone over my house on the second Tuesday of every month, you would find me bent over with the electric buzzer.
I pray that Google Maps catches that. That when we, if you were to search your address,
imagine that.
You hunched over with the hair in the wind. Why can't you just do it in the shower?
I do. By the way, you see, like my beard, I don't like it getting too thick either. So when it gets a little overgrown, I gotta get it down to like a 2.5 or a 2. I do that on my front stoop, and the hair is just flying everywhere in the wind. And this, by the way, is not just a summertime routine. It could be 9 degrees in the thick of February, and there I am, sweatpants pulled down. That's just the life I live. It's the life I live. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the top 5 teams under the most pressure. Okay. Number 5 for me. I want to make this very clear. The way I'm handling this list is I'm not telling you I think these teams are actually in trouble, but I do think there's some vulnerability. I am putting Alabama on my list at number 5. I know it is not a sexy game, but if I've learned anything, it's that Western Kentucky over the last couple of years always has like a tricky big offense, and they always end up in one of these bowl games that I end up betting in December where, they're going to hit the over on their team total of 37.5 or whatever the heck that is, and you haven't watched a Western Kentucky game all year until you're sitting there on December 22nd going, what is this and why are we playing this game? That being said, this is the post-Nick Saban era, and I think everything I know and think about Alabama goes out the window until proven otherwise here. And I just think in this spot, I think Alabama rolls. I think they're fine. But would it shock me if suddenly you look up and Alabama's giving up, 28 points to an offense that seemingly every year is humming along, and this is a Western Kentucky team that covers? I think Alabama needs to get off to a good start and a comfortable start. They don't need that negative taste of only winning a game by 7 to 9 points over Western Kentucky. Go roll here in week 1, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, that's wildly disrespectful to Kalen DeBoer, in my opinion. But for the essence of saving time, and we're going to have to roll tide this list to the next segment already.
Well, you started talking about shaving.
Yeah, well, and then you took it on a entirely different new avenue. Number 4 for me, and I think we both have it, so we can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone here. LSU, team 4th ranked team for me in terms of the most pressure in week 1. They got to take care of business. You got to beat LSU and USC, and I know the game is in Vegas, so different environment, but LSU is, they're kind of one of the outsiders that people think have a shot of getting to the college football playoff. No Jaden Daniels, no Malik Neighbors, but now Brian Kelly. Has Garrett Nussmeier stepping in under center here. They still have Chris Hilton Jr., who's a great weapon. They bring in C.J. Daniels, so the offense still should hum. It's up to this defense now. Like Brian Kelly, who's a defensive guy, or the defense that couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. If they can't find a way to slow down Miller Moss and Lincoln Riley's USC Trojans, which we saw also as a defense couldn't stop anybody last year. LSU, if they lose this game, it's an epic disaster. I know the spread is a small one. It's only like 4.5. They got to win this football game, man. There's a lot of pressure on Brian Kelly to get a win right out of the gate.
Yeah, and let's face it, the whole world's going to be watching. That Sunday night is a great spot. LSU, Florida State has been in that spot the last two years. They come in at number 4 for me as well. And, not so fast, Pat. There's plenty of people that think they go to the college football playoff. There's plenty of people I talk to that think that the quarterback stinks and that LSU is going to have a down year. Look, every couple of years, LSU comes out like the Olympics. Suddenly you forget it's coming, and then they have that big year. The stars are aligned here for LSU, though I think it does hurt them that there's no more divisional play within the SEC, because I think that they could have been poised in an SEC West to kind of take over here without Bama. But, man, you got to win this game. Put it this way. The SEC schedule is going to be difficult enough. You cannot be bumbling and stumbling all over yourself versus your non-SEC big opponents like this one will be with USC. Go find a way to get it done. Go find a way to get it done. Now, do we want to continue with number 3 here, or do we want to wait until the other side? It would be nice if I had some kind of update as far as where we're at. We're 90 seconds away. Why don't we vamp, Pat? Why don't we vamp? So we've gone through our top 2. We've talked about Chevy Cheeks. Yeah, why? You got something else for me?
No, I can vamp. I want to suck your blood.
No, what he means there is like a vampire. Oh, boy. Kill me. I absolutely kill me. Oh, boy, Patty. College football is back. We're going to continue to talk about it as well. The NFL preseason is going to wrap today with cut-down days coming Monday and Tuesday. There was also a big Dallas Cowboy injury yesterday. People in Dallas shaking in their Cowboy boots.
Yeah, there you go. How brutal was that Giants game, by the way, last night? How brutal was that? Did you watch it?
Not only did I watch it, you want a BetQL take? Tommy DeVito gets the ball with over 2 minutes left. Shawnee jumped in live at plus 320 on the Giants' money line. I did a live bet thinking Tommy DeVito was going to have a moment, and then I forgot they were playing the worst offensive line setup of people I've ever seen. I mean, you talk about a bunch of guys who are going to basically be finding your paint at Lowe's soon, and I'm betting on these guys to protect Tommy DeVito.
And he still almost got him. If that catch doesn't get overturned, I mean, they're on the other side of the 50, and DeVito's running it. If he breaks that tackle on 4th down.
Unbelievable. But that's why you don't bet preseason football. But we do, because we're degenerates. All right, we continue our list for college football. Next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. The sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I'm doing great. I was in the middle of cooking up a little Sunday scary. A lot going on today. Preseason football. We got a big-time Las Vegas Aces spread in the WNBA. I'm looking into 8.5. Do we tickle that there? We got plenty of Major League Baseball. Our home run bets will come up next hour. Patty's got some kind of beef bet. Pat, I'm very anxious to see what you could possibly have beef with today. Well, you know, this guy hit a tennis racket, and he put it in my car once, and I hated it, so I got beef with him. And that's why I'm going to bet for him. We'll have that coming up about 11:40 Eastern as well. The best bets. Unreal. So it is week 0 of college football. Looking ahead to week. By the way, any first-time listeners going, what are they even laughing at? That is so stupid. What are they doing? Basically, by the way, for anybody who's new to the show, sorry to have you. We're gone in 2 weeks. But Pat at the end gives out something called the Boyle's Beef Bet. And it started in February with the idea of like, I got beef on something, I'm going to bet it. And we've gotten to a puttering end here where he is just he's like a WWE writer. He's just making up reasons for hating things to get himself have a bet. Well, unbelievable.
All right. Now, and that was very funny. I enjoyed that impression. To be fair, it's a lot of times it could be, yeah, well, and it's also as a bettor too. we have beef with teams. Like I got beef with Mike Norvell. I got beef with Florida State. I want to bet against them. Like, I don't know if I'm going to take Boston College with the 17. I'd rather wait for Florida State to play Clemson or play a team that is actually
really
good.
Have beef with them? Do you really have beef with them though?
They took my money. They made me lose my money. So yes, I have beef with them. That's kind of the whole point of it. So yes, very funny impression, but yeah, I got beef with somebody because usually it's because you lose a bet on them. And I know that a lot of the times staying disciplined, staying unbiased, keeping the emotions out of it is the most important thing as a bettor. But how great does it feel if a team that you bet on loses you money and then you're like, I can't wait to bet against them. And then you pick a good spot and you cash and they get blown out or they lose as a big favorite. I can't wait. Retribution day is coming when Florida State plays Clemson. As long as Clemson shows that they have a pulse against Georgia, that'll be Boyle's beef bet. If we were to do that in a couple of weeks, I'd be betting against Florida State. And on top of that, Boyle's beef bet, I think, has cashed 5 out of the last 6 weeks. All the baseball bets I've been giving out, I've been nailing whether I'm either betting on or against the Yankees or on or against the Mets. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I place a beef bet and make it up with it, and that's what it's all about here. We try to make money here on BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM.
And if you get out of the car and you want to watch us, go to twitch.tv/BetQL, where you could always see our pretty faces. All right, let's continue to give our list of the most vulnerability teams in week 1 of the college football slate. Patty gave you, I forgot who we gave you at number 5.
We both gave 5. I said Georgia.
Right, and I gave Alabama, and then, of course, we both gave LSU at 4. So let's get to number 3, and I'm going to tell you right now, and you can kind of tell by the tone and tenor of my voice where I'm heading with this one, and this will be part of my hot cake I'm going to give you in hour number 3. Penn State, man, and James Franklin. This is not an easy situation for them going to West Virginia. I'm just going to keep singing. At noon on Saturday, West Virginia, by the way, is getting 10 points. Man, Penn State in what is now a more vicious Big Ten when you consider Oregon in the mix, obviously USC in the mix, UCLA in the mix, on top of what already was a dangerous situation, Ohio State in the mix. Again, one of these spots, Penn State cannot go lose this game on the road in week 1 because same reason we gave with LSU. You're going to have enough tough games within your own conference figuring this out. You can't let one slip here versus an West Virginia team here on the road.
Yeah, I like that, and I'll have more on that in just a bit there, Shawnee. Number 3 for me, the third most team with the most pressure on them in week 1, and it's a coach that has had pressure on him. It's a coach that has pressure on him basically since he walked through the doors, and he hasn't delivered yet. So, how much hotter can Billy Napier's seat get? Florida, third highest team with the most pressure in week 1. And there's pressure on Mario Cristobal as well. But the fact that this is in the swamp, if Florida can't win this game, man, it would be hard for me to believe Billy Napier makes it to the end of this year with his job intact still. And I just don't believe him as a head coach. That being said, Mario Cristobal doesn't inspire a lot of confidence either, despite bringing in Cam Ward from Wazoo, despite bringing in Damian Martinez from Oregon State. They've beefed up their skill set players, but man, I don't trust Mario Cristobal. I don't trust Billy Napier, but it feels like home field advantage in the swamp has to mean something here. So this is another field goal spread here, and I believe Miami is favored. So Florida home dogs, week 1 at the swamp, ABC, 3:30 Eastern for everybody to watch. Billy Napier cannot get blown out or cannot lose this game decisively, or he makes a coaching blunder, or they play sloppy, undisciplined football and choke away a lead in the fourth quarter. This is a big, big game for Florida, and it's only going to, I think Billy Napier's seat is hot already. You might as well throw a stick of dynamite underneath it if they lose this one.
Yeah, and what do the first 3 letters mean in Napier? You want to take a guess?
Go to sleep.
Huh? Nap. That's what he's always doing. That's what he's always doing. Okay, number 2 for both of us, Patrick Boyle. Number 2. We're going heads up on the night game here. Full disclosure, and let's debate it. I have Texas A&M in this spot. Patty's got Notre Dame. Look, the reason I put more stock on Texas A&M is kind of, and I know this is going to be beating a dead horse, the same reason I gave for LSU. Full disclosure, Shawnee's betting Notre Dame on Saturday. All right? Shawnee and the third person is betting Notre Dame on Saturday. I think Notre Dame's going to win the game. But in reality, here's Texas A&M. You've had all of this time to put your mark on the SEC years and years and years before Big Brother Texas now rolls in this year. You have a home game versus the Fighting Irish. You are still an SEC blue-blooded team now at this point. Yes, I'm going to call them a blue-blooded team at this point. Go figure out a way to get it done. I don't think they will. This is the one where I'm telling you, I don't think they will get it done. But, I mean, at home versus a non-SEC opponent, you want to have a big year? Go beat Notre Dame, Pat.
Yeah, no, to me, the pressure's on Notre Dame. I disagree to the core here in terms of who's got the most
Road
pressure.
dog.
Mike Elko. Doesn't matter. Mike Elko, this is game one for A&M at home. They're going to say, like, you don't think that Mike Elko is not looking at the spread. He is telling his team, we are underdogs. We are not supposed to win this game. This is Notre Dame's game to win. Like, all the spotlight's going to be on them, all the attention. Like, if he's a good head coach, which he is, and a good motivator, he's going to be putting up headlines about Notre Dame making the college football playoff, and he's going to fire up his team that, hey, we're underdogs at home. So throw out, like, in terms of the motivation tactic, throw out the spread. So Notre Dame, they know what the expectations are. They have to make the college football playoff. Marcus Freeman has to make the college football playoff this year. No more coaching blunders. No more too many men or not enough men on the field, even after a timeout against Ohio State last year. That cannot happen. And they bring in Riley Leonard. They're on the road. The 12-man, even I've made fun of it for weeks now. Like, it's going to be a hostile environment. And if Notre Dame loses this one, man, the Florida State game now that they got to play later in the year, that becomes a must-win because of what Florida State just did yesterday. USC at the end of the year, that's a must-win. Notre Dame loses this game next Saturday, they basically have to run the table and go 11-0 the rest of the way. Otherwise, I don't think they're getting in. So this is a gigantic amount of pressure on the Irish to go on the road and win this game here and set the tone for the rest of the season.
And I think the Irish will win the game. I believe Pat does as well. All right, last but not least, number one. Pat, I gave this as number 3. You can give your number 1, the Nittany Lions, Penn State, noon, West Virginia.
Yeah. I mean, again, another team that is a probably along with Notre Dame is the biggest beneficiary of the 12-team college football playoff, Penn State and Notre Dame. So for James Franklin, there's no more excuses anymore, right? Even if you get blown out by Ohio State, which they do every single year, and they probably will again at home when they play them on November 2nd. Outside of that, their only other ranked opponent on the schedule in terms of preseason is USC. So Penn State, I mean, at worst, they got to go 10-2. At the absolute worst. So there's no more excuses for James Franklin. We can't beat Ohio State. So we'll win 9-10 games. We'll win a nice bowl game that doesn't matter anymore. No. No more. No more of that expectations pressure through the roof on Penn State. And it starts week 1 against Neil Brown, a guy that was West Virginia, who's on the hot seat last year. They win 9 games. He's building culture. He's pounding nails in Morgantown. So on the road, we just saw what these road favorites did yesterday. And it's not going to make a difference with Drew Aller and Penn State. There's going to be a lot of pressure. This spread has already moved from double digits to 8.5. For me, this is a team that has to make the college football playoff this year. This is a very tough first game on the road, noon Eastern this upcoming Saturday. They got to win this one. Otherwise, look out, James Franklin. That seat is burning hot.
All right. So I'm with you. Number 1 for me is a flip of what you've already picked as well. You had picked Georgia in your list. I want to make things very clear here. It is going to take a lot. Like, I know this sounds crazy. More can happen in the NFL during the week to make you kind of get off your initial instinct on a bet. I am going to bet Notre Dame. I'm going to bet Florida on Saturday. And I'm absolutely going to lay the wood of 14 points with the Georgia Bulldogs. But I am still taking Clemson as the number 1 team with all the pressure in the world. If for no other reason than everything, and I mean everything, that Dabo Swinney built up in Clemson when he went from Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence, turned Clemson from a team that always choked into national champions. Man, we are quickly spiraling towards, a young generation of fans are going to forget how great Clemson was here. If they just go out versus every big game they have again and get stomped out, the ACC is not a big-time conference anymore. You just saw what happened with Florida State yesterday. I'm sorry, Pat. Clemson's at number 1 for me. I think they're going to get blown out. I think that's going to be a bad look for them in a big spot on national TV. Look, all these coaches keep retiring. You see Nick Saban go. If Dabo Swinney wants to have, one last ride, put up a fight on Saturday versus Georgia and look like you belong on the same field with the best team in the nation. I don't think they will. I think we leave disappointed. But ultimately, at some point, all the goodwill that Dabo built up goes out the freaking window if you continue to get punched in the mouth by big-time teams. And damn, that was a fun hour. I'm completely tickled. We covered ass hair, the Georgia Bulldogs, the Nittany Lions, and more. Hot takes and hot cakes continue next. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades.
Your BetQL Sunday service starts now. With Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM. Sean Morash here, Pat Boyle here. 2 hours left to play with, 5 hours total on our BetQL 5-Star Weekend run here. As we get ready for football season, Pat, I've had an enormous time with you. Enormous. We've done a good job here, and you've done a great job filling in the shoes for Chris Mack, who left us, not this earth, left the show before the start of the season. What is wrong with me? Anyway, anywho, as I keep saying, we've done plenty on college football here to start hour number one. Something tells me that's going to continue, plus some tennis bets to come. Patty, let's get it going for BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. Oh, wait. Hot takes and hot cakes. I did the wrong toss.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Chris Mack and Sean Marash, give it to them.
And then right on cue, the old toss. I can't tell if Kenny was a genius and that was on purpose. If it was, good job by him. All right, here we go. Patty, I'm going to bend the knee and let you give your take because it breaks up a little of the college football, your cake. Here we go.
Yeah, U.S. Open. I will be there probably 7 or 8 times. So for those of you that have followed along the show this summer, you know that I am a gigantic tennis guy, tennis fan, and the U.S. Open is 30 minutes away from WFAN here, 45 to an hour, depending on traffic from my apartment. So this is Christmas for me these next 2 weeks, and it leads. I'll have U.S. Open and the first official Saturday of college football this upcoming Saturday, and then it just leads right into the NFL season. So for me, there's no end of summer lull here. Amir Tyree, our producer, has thrown in some tennis insights. How about that? Beautiful. Very, very beautiful thing, Amir. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to have 2 futures bets here for you, and then next hour, I'm going to have – I've already keyed in on a couple of matches that I want to play for the first round, which starts tomorrow and Tuesday. So I'm going to give you the futures now. And look, I know on the surface you're going to hear this and you're going to go, wow, that's really chalky. But look, for this tournament, especially this era of tennis, you normally can count on the top 3 guys to get the job done, top 4 guys to get the job done because they are just that much better than the rest of the field. Women's tennis, entirely different story. It's a reason why I normally don't bet it because it's wide open. Like if you're betting women's tennis futures, like just go for the higher value, go for the long shots. If you watch even a little bit and you say, oh wow, I've seen her play really well, she can make a run because it usually happens every year. I mean, Emma Raducanu won the U.S. Open as a qualifier a couple of years ago, which is like, you put $100 on her, you that's life-changing money. And that happens every year with women's tennis. So I like to focus on the sport and the men that I watch day in and day out. And like I said, it's going to seem chalky, but when these guys proven that they're that much mentally tougher than the rest of the field, barring an injury, which could happen, but barring an injury, these results are going to hold up. So first futures bet for me, a parlay. Alcaraz to win his quarter, a.k.a. to get to the semifinal, and Djokovic to win his quarter, a.k.a. to get to the semifinal. Alcaraz minus 210, Djokovic minus 175. You have to shop around in order to parlay them together, but if you do that, you get plus money, plus 132. And to give you a little insight here, I'm looking at Carlos Alcaraz's quarter, and it's pretty easy. Like, and the toughest matchup he's going to have is going to come in the first like real test that he's going to have is going to come in the fourth round. It's going to come against Jack Draper, British guy, lefty, really, really good. Beat him at one of the tune-up grass events to Wimbledon. But the thing about Draper is, even though he has made some improvements, he's physically frail in terms of his stamina. So I can, it's again hot at the U.S. Open, unless he has the comfortability or the pleasure of playing under the roof in case there's some rain in the forecast, which there's not. By the time he plays Alcaraz and the first, the first weekend or the second week begins in the U.S. Open, that's actually third round. So that this match will probably happen on Friday or Saturday. Even then, in a best of five, Alcaraz, I just can't see him not having the engine or the gas tank to outlast Draper, who, by the way, could lose round one, in my opinion, to the Chinese guy Xi Jinping, who's that's in terms of a comp for him. Whatever football team you can't get a feel on, Shawnee, for you, the Chargers. Like that's the type of player that Xi Jinping is. So there you go. So Alcaraz, that's the first real test he's going to have. Round three, it's going to come against Jack Draper. After that, he'll probably play American Sebastian Corda in round four, which to me, when the lights are brightest, he chokes the most. So I'm basically penciling Alcaraz into the quarterfinals, where at that point he is going to play. In terms of the seed, the highest seed he's going to play is Hurkacz's big server. The guy just had knee surgery like a month and a half ago, and credit to him, he's come back. He's playing well, but I just can't expect him to hold up all the way through 3-4 matches and then beat Alcaraz on top of that. Outside of that, you're looking at the next toughest opponent that Alcaraz might play, Alex de Minaur, the Aussie, which, probably a tough matchup, but Alcaraz just way too good. So you parlay that with Djokovic. Again, Djokovic had the knee surgery after the French Open, gets crushed in the final in Wimbledon by Alcaraz. So that's an accomplishment of his own that he even got there. And then he wins the Olympics. So I don't see him being hampered by the knee injury. And, might have a tough round two matchup against Struff. German that can serve big on his best day, might be able to win a set. Maybe that's a 5-set thriller. But again, it's Novak Djokovic. The guy has proven time and time again that he is super reliable in terms of betting on to get to the semifinal, to get to the final. You could be looking at a possible round 4 rematch with him and Ben Shelton. That was the semifinal last year with the whole hang up the phone, making fun of his celebration. Again, just nobody that I see can go toe-to-toe in a best of 5 with Djokovic and beat him in this quarter. Grigor Dimitrov is in this quarter. He usually fades when it's like really high stakes when he's playing up against the top guys, and Djokovic has owned him in the past. And then Rublev's the other highest seed, and he has had a disaster of a year. So again, these are pretty safe, surefire bets to me that I think are cashing unless one of these guys suffers a major injury. Alcaraz and Djokovic both to make the semis. That's plus 132. And then really quickly here, Zverev to win his quarter. That's plus money. I'm surprised he's not in the minus. Plus 120 on BetMGM for Alexander Zverev to get to the semifinals. He is the 4th seed, and he's just been super solid. He's been super solid all year long, very consistent. Probably will end up getting to the semifinals and probably will lead Djokovic by 2-1, and then will probably choke again like he normally does. But he's got a very weak quarter, and I'm surprised that he's plus money. The other top seed in this one is Casper Ruud, the guy that's great on clay and kind of stinks, everywhere else for the most part. He actually made the U.S. Open final a couple of years ago and lost to Alcaraz when he won his first slam. But especially over the last year and a half, 2 years, outside of the clay, Casper Ruud is a very, very easy fade, and I can honestly see him going down round 1. But in Zverev's quarter, the other toughest guys that he's going to play, the American Taylor Fritz, who actually has a pretty good record against him. But again, Zverev's got the serve. His baseline play has been incredible, and he's been super consistent in terms of getting deep in tournaments and then usually losing to the top seeds. So I think at plus money, this is a really good bet here for Zverev at plus 120. So I'm on him to win his quarter. And then, like I said, the parlay, Alcaraz and Djokovic, both to get to the semifinals. Shawnee, can you tell that I'm pumped up for tennis?
You can. And by the way,
I may actually bet some tennis. I love that first parlay you gave there. I've already, during your whole rant, was trying to, quote unquote, shop around. And you're right. There are places you could do it. There are places you can't. But that feels like pretty easy plus 132 money. So, which means it probably won't be, and I'll be pissed at Pat, and then I'll have a beef with him. All right. I'm going to swing us back around to college football here after big week 0. I have been firm on something. I have been firm on a belief on something, debating barstools, friends, family alike. Whenever I hear that college football playoff expansion going to 12 teams, I mean, it's going to kill the regular season because all those games are so important. And my argument is, no, it's going to do the opposite. It's going to make more games more important. Instead of just having the one game a week that's important, all these games are. And look no further than what happened to Florida State yesterday. Any other year, most years, Florida State losing in week 0 to Georgia Tech could probably finish them for the year. And ultimately, does it mean we're going to believe like Pat laid out in Florida State all year? Probably not. But think about this. They're going to go through Boston College. They're going to go through Memphis. They're going to go through Cal. And they're going to go through SMU. By the way, will be probably a tricky game. Then you're going to play Clemson at home on October 5th. Okay? You hope that Florida State only has one loss going into that game. Do they win that game? Do they lose that game? I don't know. But even if they were to lose that game and you're trying to come out of the ACC, they would still technically be alive at 2 losses and would have to win out. And I say that because October 26th, 5 days before Halloween, they're going to go to Miami. Wouldn't it be a shame for that game to mean diddly squat for the Florida State Seminoles? It would. And in most years, it already would. Now, they still have still alive. You could win the ACC here with 2 losses, okay? So that loss doesn't necessarily bury them. It hurts them. It makes you think twice about them, and ultimately maybe they'll stink and they'll lose 3-4 games. I mean, after that, they're going to play Notre Dame. North Carolina won't be easy. They close the season with Florida. A lot of spots for Florida State losses here. I mean, they might only lose 4 or 5. They might lose 4 or 5 games this year. But my point is, at least we will get to that Miami game, you would think, unless they completely poop the you-know-what, or no, I guess do you-know-what to the bed. They will get to that spot alive still for something. My point is just all of these big teams that have vulnerable upsets, you could afford more than one. You could have 2 losses in a year and be alive when college football expansion is alive. And this is going to be a unique year, the realignment, everything. I am relieved that we have college football playoff expansion, and I am relieved that I think more games now you could watch, see an upset, appreciate an upset, know a team is not necessarily dead and buried, and there is more wiggle room, which I think is healthier for the sport and will give us, in fact, more games that matter than less games that matter, Pat Boyle.
I agree. Thank Sean.
You.
I got nothing to add to that, man. That was a great point.
Thank you. All right. Let's pivot to the NFL real quickly. Cowboys, how about him? Deron Bland, 6 to 8 weeks. He was everything for that team. We got to the point where sportsbooks were putting out props simply on will Deron Bland return a pick 6 for a touchdown. Dallas Cowboys still don't have CeeDee Lamb in camp. Who knows what's going on with the Dak Prescott paid situation? There's weird standoff still with Micah Parsons and players in that locker room as well. There is a weird scenario going on with the Dallas Cowboys. And now they lose Deron Bland for 6 to 8 weeks. So for sure, probably the first 4 weeks of the regular season, factoring we're 2 weeks to go there. Games like Cleveland, I know they play the Giants in week 4. I think I saw it tweet. Well, at least they're not playing big-time passing offenses. Well, hold your phone here. The Cowboys don't have Stephon Gilmore on that team anymore. Obviously, Trayvon Diggs is coming back. This is a team that right now, has anybody paid attention? They don't even have a real running back on the roster. I guess Deuce Vaughn is going to make it. I think that because of the star on the helmet, because we've all talked about Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, we haven't paid attention elsewhere on the roster. Man, this is a major injury, Pat, for the Dallas Cowboys losing Deron Bland. And I keep going around and finding excuses. Well, Giants and Washington, not good. Philly, you saw them collapse at the end of the year. Dallas going to find a way to win the division. I do. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I think the NFC East might come down to a 9-win team that ultimately wins it. And I am real worried about the Dallas Cowboys, Pat.
I mean, as you should be, right? As you should be. And ultimately, I don't know why, and maybe it's because I don't really think the Eagles are going to be good either. So I'm less and less inclined to actually put a futures bet on an NFC East winner. And I know you said Washington, you like the Commanders. You think they're maybe worth a couple of dollars to put on as a long shot to win the NFC East.
I
But
do.
I just can't get a read on how this division is going to shake out, man. And I said earlier in the summer that I think the Cowboys are going to repeat. They'll be the first repeat NFC East champions in two decades, basically. All these teams have dysfunction. And, the Cowboys, they played Jerry Jones. I mean, he's run this team like an imbecile here this summer, not getting a deal done for Dak Prescott before this year, not getting a deal done for CeeDee Lamb, and then watching Justin Jefferson and other guys that are not as good as CeeDee Lamb set the market. And now you got to pay CeeDee Lamb probably close to $35 million a year, if not more, which they're not doing, and they still don't have they still don't have anything done here, and the clock is ticking. So as much as I like to think that, I don't want to give any shred of credit to Jerry Jones, but again, all these guys playing on contract years, maybe you get the absolute best out of the Cowboys. It's still tough to think that. On top of that, their offensive line, which has been the saving grace for the last couple of years, let's not forget, they got a rookie left tackle, Tyler Guyton, and they lost Tyler Biadasz at center, so now they got Brock Hoffman, who's their starting center here. So, and now Deron Bland, you add him to the injury list here, and again, going to miss the first couple of games, if not longer than that. Hopefully he's only out 4 games. Man, this is the worst possible way to start the season if you're the Cowboys, and it's spelling trouble.
Yeah, it is. Interesting to say the least. Other years, maybe I'd be more panicked. The NFC East is going to be a weird one for me. All right, we come back. Nick Saban has a prediction for college football for the college football playoff, and I have some thoughts on Nick Saban. To be honest with you, can you go away for a little bit? It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. The sports.
Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. The sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend is here at Sean Morash. And it's Pat Boyle here, having a grand old time. We continue our trek on digesting college football. Remember, 4 underdogs covered yesterday. So if you were a dog better, you're a winner. But according to the sports books, not a lot won yesterday, and including BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Pat, before we get into exactly what happened here, Nick Saban on game day has pumped out his prediction of the 12-team playoff yesterday, which already feels like it's blown up in smoke, ironically. Can I just say this? Whether it's appearing on Hard Knocks, and don't get me wrong, I don't care that Matt Eberflus was a player at Akron for Nick Saban. Nick Saban knows the Hard Knocks cameras were there, and that was a planted setup by HBO. Let's show that Nick Saban has a connection to Matt Eberflus and show up in Hard Knocks. Whether it's coming up with some fakakta Manning cast that I forget, is that real or not, whatever he's planning on doing with Belichick or whatever, or whether it's, pumping him out on week 0 to give me what he thinks the college football playoff is going to be. I felt this way about Tom Brady. I still feel this way about Tom Brady. I felt this way about the Mannings, and I feel this way here about Nick Saban. When you step away from a prominent job in a sport, I need to miss you for a little bit. A year, 2 years, 3 years. If Nick Saban wasn't going to coach Alabama and go through, bless his heart, I'm happy, enjoy retirement. I feel like I've had more Nick Saban shoved down my throat in the month of August than I have the previous 15 years with Alabama. Go away for a little bit. And frankly, I don't need Nick Saban's playoff predictor. I don't care. I do not care. Now, we're going to talk about it because we're content people. But I don't know how you feel. Maybe I'm just a grumpy old man, and maybe there's somebody in the car right now in Tulsa, Oklahoma, screaming, "What do you mean? What do you mean? I want to hear what Nick has to say." And I don't mean to mock an accent. I'm just trying to paint the picture for the audience here. I don't know, man. I'm good on all the Saban stuff I'm seeing right now. Can you just go away for a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you when it comes to Saban and it comes to Belichick, because we're getting Belichick shoved down our throat here, right? He's going to be on the Manning cast, whatever they're
whatever they're doing.
Belichick. Yeah, exactly, right? I don't watch any of that. I don't want to say garbage. I want to watch, even if you may not like the announcers. Like I love.
I want to watch the game.
I think I want to watch the game, and I want to hear the broadcast, like news, nuggets, and relevant stats. I don't want to hear Peyton and I like Peyton. I love Eli. I don't want to hear them talking about whatever the hell they talk about on the Manningcast. I maybe watched it one time, and I was like, I can't even focus on the game because they're talking about like totally something different here. So I'm out on the whole casts, the alternate casts. And when it comes to Saban and Bill Belichick now bumping into prominent broadcast roles, I really don't care, because
I agree.
What did they give us as coaches? Cincinnati, and it's really all I'm gonna say. But he was boring. Right. Now all of a sudden Bill Belichick's going to flip a switch and have a personality? Saban, who said the same thing for 13 years, is now going to have a personality, and somebody's going to get me jacked up and fired up to listen to what he says. I know he's smart. I know they're two of the greatest football coaches ever. But I don't really care, man. If they're not entertaining me, that's what I listen. That's what I watch for. If I'm not, on days where there's not a game, and if I'm watching a debate show, or I'm watching like Game Day, or if I'm watching, whatever the hell is the lead up to Monday Night Football, or if I'm watching the NFL Today with our guy Boomer Esiason, like those guys are funny, they're entertaining, and there's really not a whole lot of other spots to be. But like for Saban on Game Day, or for Saban wherever he's talking, he also just got done coaching. So how much film, how much other tape and stuff did he watch on all these other teams that make me think he's so much of an expert than somebody else that watches college football, that watches all these different teams? When I know on top of it, again, it doesn't have much of a personality. So I tend to agree with you with him and Belichick. I don't really need to hear what they say other than if they're like breaking down X's and O's type stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That being said, Nick Saban has given his college football playoff prediction on the 12-team playoff. And here it is. Your number 1 seed, Georgia, Pat. I mean, they're the prohibitive favorite to win the national championship. Hard to argue there. His number 2 seed, Ohio State. So he thinks they will be the best team in the Big Ten. Hard to argue there. Number 3, he has Florida State, which is so funny. They go down like a bag of bricks to Georgia Tech. I'm going to go out on a limb, looking ahead at that schedule too, and say that Florida State probably – I don't think they're going to make the college football playoff. I know they start the year as a top 10 team. I laid out that they're not dead. They certainly aren't dead, but I still don't think they're going to make it. I think slip-ups are sure to come, whether it's Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, to name a few. They're number 3, so he has them as the best team in the ACC. All right, we'll pick your other ACC team to fill in there. More on that in a second. Utah, first year here in the Big 12, he has as the 4 seed. I mean, they were obviously a powerhouse, or, so to speak, in the Pac-12. I don't necessarily have a problem with Utah, constantly under Kyle Whittingham, always successful. Those would be the 4 teams that get to bye. The first round, he has Texas as the 5. Look, I know people are questioning their move over to the SEC this year, where they're going to hang. I think with Quinn Ewers and company, Sark, they're going to have a big year. He has them, I guess, facing Liberty as the best group of 6 team. I'd be lying to you if I had a real good opinion on who that best team is going to be there, sitting at the 12 seed. So fine, I'm with him.
I will say this really quickly.
Yeah.
Liberty, Tulane, Memphis, off the top of my head. I don't think the odds have changed. I think those are the 3 biggest or shortest odds favorites. But I know our guy Douglas Farmer said yesterday, App State he thinks can sneak in as the 12th. Appalachian State. I might put $5 on them to make the college football playoff. But yeah, either way, whoever gets the 5, you're gonna be a huge favorite in the first round.
Yeah, so that could be a good spot for Texas. The winner of that game would play Utah under this. All right, the 6 seed he has Oregon, who people love this year, love them going over the Big Ten, but clearly views Ohio State as being better. They would play the 11 LSU, who we've talked about getting in. Then the 7, he has Alabama, which, this is interesting. He has them facing Notre Dame, which, I mean, you talk about eyeballs. Alabama, Notre Dame in a first-round college football playoff matchup. Tricky Nick here does something slick. And maybe he's right. Before I get to that, the 80 has Ole Miss, and the 90 has Penn State. So if you counted that, he put Georgia in, right? He put LSU in. He put Bama in. He put Ole Miss in. And he put Texas in. He put 5 SEC teams in. But he did something subtle there. He wanted to let everybody know, I think my guys at Bama are going to make the playoff, but they're going to be the 3rd best team in the SEC out of the 5 that get in. That was a little ego play I thought interesting from Saban to let you know. He didn't rush up there. No, suddenly you're not good enough. When you're coaching, you guys believe you're good enough to top Georgia. Now suddenly not good enough with the quarterback you left there sitting. So I thought that was a little ego play there. Overall, look, Pat, if we got a Liberty, Texas, where everybody wants to see, and you mentioned App State, a group of 60, can they upset who? Penn State, Ole Miss, LSU, Oregon, and Notre Dame, Alabama, all as first-round playoff games. I mean, those are, for lack of a better term, ball ticklers.
They are. My overwhelming takeaway, not to Saban's predictions. I mean, again, I don't have a problem necessarily across the board with them. I will say this. Going forward, each and every year until we get another huge wave of conference realignment, which doesn't feel like it's far away. But for now, whoever gets the 5 seed and whoever gets the 6 seed, you take care of business in that first round. I mean, you got to be loving where you're at, because it feels like for going forward, at least this year, the ACC sucks. The ACC is weak, right, and the Big 12 is weak. So, think about this. Texas is going to play, and I think the quarterfinals are all neutral site games, right? It's only the first round games that are at the home campus sites.
Right.
So if you're Texas and if you're Oregon, just going off Saban's predictions, you got to love your route to the semifinals, man, because you're going to play Utah and you're going to play the winner of the ACC, whether it's Florida State, Miami, Clemson, or God forbid anybody else, NC State, if they have a huge stunner of a year here. Man, did you luck out missing out on playing Georgia and Ohio State? The 7-10 and the 8-9, that's brutal. Brutal for them. If you're able to get the 5 or the 6, you're playing the winner of the Big 12 or the ACC in the second round. I mean, my goodness, man, that is a virtual, not a cakewalk, but that is a huge, huge boost in terms of getting to the semifinals. So I think that's the biggest takeaway. Winner of the Big 12, winner of the ACC, they are there to be picked off in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And just real quickly, we mentioned Utah as the 4 seed right now. Remember, that's a new look Big 12. They are the favorites at plus 275, which feels like pretty good value if you're a believer in Utah coming right out of this new look Big 12. But the one team that did not mention that the team with the biggest liability in the sports books, the highest ticket percentage, highest handle percentage, Colorado, with Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders. And it took us until an hour and a half into the show to even mention Colorado. And I bring them up because, look, they're going to be trendy. They're going to be fun. The novices are going to be really into it. Deion has made Colorado, for better or for worse, an interesting spot. But it feels like some of the hardcore guys, Pat, like you, like me, like anybody here on BetQL who loves the sport, loves gambling on the sport, it feels like we're all Colorado'd out and we're being real dismissive that basically they're going to have a year like last year where maybe they have a fun start to the year, but it just comes to a thumping end and they don't have a part in it. But clearly the sportsbooks would be in trouble if Colorado in this new look Big 12 figured out a way to get this done. And they do have a quarterback that you have to believe in.
Yeah, they got a quarterback to believe in, but they still don't have an offensive line that I believe in. And it was a mess. It was an absolute sieve last year. And I know Deion's pumping up that he brought in a bunch of guys, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. That offensive line, you have to have an offensive line in college football, right? As much as we think that skill set players, the athleticism of Shedeur Sanders and of Travis Hunter can kind of just totally lift them up and above. It can't. And I want to root against Colorado very much so this year, because also Deion has looked incredibly soft here in the last couple of weeks, banning a writer for basically being critical of the program, saying that it's a circus, when Deion has kind of turned it into a circus. Like, he loves having the circus act. So, again, people got fooled into thinking, again, after week 2, we're talking about if Colorado's going to make the college football playoff last year and then they barely escape Colorado State and then get their doors blown off by Oregon. Patty's probably going to have money on Nebraska when they play each other in a couple of weeks from now, because I'm a believer in Dylan Raiola and in Matt Rule and the Huskers, which is weird to say, but yeah, a lot of people just I feel like you got a better chance of setting money on fire than winning Colorado to win the Big 12.
Yeah, Colorado plus 2,500 to win the Big 12. By the way, better odds than them. Plus 2,000 on West Virginia, who's getting 10 at home versus Penn State next week. I'm circling the drain. I'm circling the drain. Patty mentioned App State as that, extra team to get into the college football playoff over Liberty. In the Sun Belt, they are the favorites. Plus 275, though, a nice little ticket. Plus 275 is nice odds if you are a believer. It was Doug Farmer who suggested them. So obviously to get there, they would clearly have to win the Sun Belt. And if that's the odds you're getting right now, although BetMGM has them at plus 200. By the way, your second favorite in that conference is Texas State. James Madison's coach left, by the way. Remember their big year last year. They're at plus 550. Sun Belt football. Man, I'm so happy to be talking about stuff like this and get into it. We are, though, going to pivot to baseball shortly and give out our best home run plays of the day. Hopefully, Kenny Gunnar Henderson, by the way, is, in fact, well aware of who's actually in lineups today, so we don't have to make a big pivot. By the way, I picked the wrong guy. Oh, speaking of that, I know I'm going in a million different directions. Last week, Kenny picked Anthony Santander, who was taken out of the lineup, okay? Or was never in the lineup, and then he had to replace it. Can I say something? Am I allowed to say something on a show I host? His nickname, Tony Taters, they're calling him in Baltimore. He's become a huge home run hitter. They're going to have to pay him, the Orioles. What a dumb nickname. What an absolute... you don't need a nickname at every turn when you're a good player and a good athlete. And I've seen a lot of Oriole fans because he hit the big home run the other night versus Houston. Tony Taters. Thoughts, Pat? Stupid nickname.
That's a hard disagree. Hard disagree.
You like that nickname?
Any reason for a nickname, I'm in. Tony Taters? Why not? The guy's got, 43 bombs on the year?
Dumb nickname.
What do you want to call him? What other nickname do you have for Anthony Santander? What nickname do you have? Tell me.
I'll tell you what you call him. Anthony Santander. You call him by his name.
Okay. God forbid the people of Baltimore create a nickname for their most prolific home run hitter.
Is Aaron Judge called Aaron Airball? No, he's just Aaron Judge. Why do you need a nickname?
He's called the Judge.
Shohei Ohtani? Shohei Ohtani called Shohei Motani. No, he's Shohei Ohtani. Why do you need a dumb nickname? And no, Kenny, nobody calls him the captain. That's Derek Jeter.
Okay. I call him the captain.
Well, you're an idiot, okay?
Tony Taters is fine. Tony Taters is great. I don't know what the problem is.
I just want everybody to know that the guy who has Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses is calling Tony Taters a great nickname. All right, when we come back, we give out our best home run plays. That one really hurt Pat. I can see he's really upset about it. We give out our best home run plays with Dingbat. Let's go, baby. Let's win some money. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. We'll be right back.
5-Star Weekend. We'll be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds? I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. The sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today.
It is the sportsbook born in Vegas. And I'm the guy born on Long Island. It's Sean Morash, Pat Boyle with you. We've done a lot of college football, but there's still baseball to be played. 5 weeks left in the regular season, which means a lot of dingers left to be hit and a lot of dingers left to be bet. And that is the point in time every single week where myself, Pat Boyle, and producer Kenny Gunder Henderson come in and give you the home run plays of the day. We call the segment Dingbat. That was cute.
Who will win? Who will lose? Who will look dumb? It's time for Dingbat with Sean Morash and Pat Boyle on the Bet.
By the way, Patty, the
All
only one
right.
to hit a home run last week.
I mean, why don't you yell in a megaphone more and sound less radio quality?
I'm just saying, Patty's hot. Patty's carrying the torch here. Patty's carrying the lead. I'm carrying, a busted up lineup here. You guys couldn't hit one last week. I hit on Altuve, which was a pivot shot.
Okay, so if you didn't have to pivot because somebody was out of the lineup, would you have hit on one, Pat?
If Alvarez was in the lineup, if Jordan, he probably would have went deep anyway. So, yeah. Them's the break, Shawnee.
It's an interesting twist. All right. Well, so since we're all grown adults here, we like playing a game called Rock, Paper, Scissors that apparently I'm the only one that plays right because he says shoot when we go out, and that will determine the first pick. No, Pat, you're wrong. Okay? You're always wrong. And stop lying to the audience. Here we go. Twitch.tv/BetQL to see the best damn rock, paper, scissors game you'll ever see. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. Oh, a three-way tie, the first ever. The first ever. I've put out a scissor. Patty's put out a paper. And Kenny's put out a rock. I thought about this, I swear to you, earlier in the week. I said, isn't it crazy that we've done a whole year and we didn't have a three-way interlocking tie in rock, paper, scissors? It was always my fear and flaw, and I thought it would happen every week, and it's finally happened. So let's try that again. Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. Patty puts out a rock. Me and Kenny put out scissors. Pat Boyle's going to pick one. I'm going to let Kenny pick two because he's a good kid. He's a good kiddo. I'm going to pick third, and that's the end of it. All right, Patty, take it away.
Yeah, sure. And with that number one pick, I'm going ahead and going to be a pig, and I'm going to take Mr. Aaron Judge. Why? Did he go deep yesterday? No. Did he go deep in 4 straight games before that? Yes. Who's pitching for the Rockies today? Austin Gomber. You better not put one over the plate, Austin, because it's going to be Gonber. So give me Judge.
This show's got to get canceled.
Judge plus 150. Yeah, the odds are screwed. But I mean, dude, the guy's got what, 48 bombs, 49. He's one away from 50. I'm taking Judge. I think you're an idiot if you don't take Judge if we're doing this game. So there you go.
All right, fair enough. Kenny, to you.
I think there should be a punishment on this game if you take Aaron Judge and he doesn't home run.
Ooh, I like that.
We're only 2 weeks ago, but anyway. So
You're right.
I'm gonna pivot here to Sunday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. I'm already in football mode. Sunday Night Baseball.
Waiting all day for Sunday night.
I'm gonna go to Sunday Night Baseball. You say Kikuchi. I say Gunnar Henderson. My brother's hitting a home run today, so I'm gonna go Gunnar Henderson.
Okay.
And he was so happy to deliver that line.
I think that one flew over Sean's head. I'm not sure.
No, I got it. I just was too busy looking at my pivot because I was going to take Judge. All right. Pick number 3. What Pat didn't tell you when he was a pig is that Austin Gomber, of all the qualifying pitchers, has given up the 3rd most home runs in Major League Baseball for starting pitchers. Okay? Which means Aaron Judge isn't the only one who's going to go deep. In fact, Gomber has given up 17 earned runs and 7 home runs over his last 6 starts. And it's even worse away from Coors Field. 4.80 ERA away from Coors Field, 4.42 at home in those starts. So if Pat Boyle is going to be a pig with Aaron Judge, I'm going to be a pig with better value. Give me Juan Soto plus 280 to hit a home run off of Austin Gomber. All right? Patty, back to you.
Soto's gone deep, I think a decent amount off lefties this year, too. By the way, and we'll get to it maybe. I don't know how big of news this is. Schefter tweeting, the Dolphins are releasing infamous backup quarterback Mike White. How about that? So Mike White's going to be looking for a job here in the next week or so. We can get to that, I guess, later on. But
spoiler alert, Giants will be interested.
Yeah, I mean, they should be. Who knows what the hell Drew Lock's going to look like if he's ever healthy this year. Okay, pick number 4 overall, second pick for me. Did anybody want to take Bobby Witt today?
Nope. Yeah, I mean, I not immediately, but I mean, why, he's out of the lineup?
No. I'll let you take him, Shawnee, because I wanted to take Bobby Witt, but something in my gut tells me, right here, something in here tells me that Mr. Salvador Perez is a better bet today in that Royals game. By the way, Phillies Royals, I'm looking at MLB Swish Analytics where I get my weather reports, and wind supposed to be blowing dead center, straight out to dead center today. It's going to be 100 degrees in Kansas City, so hot, wind blowing out. Cody, whatever the hell his name is, on the mound for the Phillies today, who's given up 3 bombs in 13 innings pitched this year, if I had that correctly here. Colby Allard, 3 home runs given up in just 13 innings pitched this year, and he's a lefty, so who bangs lefties better than Sal Perez? So instead of going with Bobby Witt, I'm going to go with Sally. Give me Sally boys. Sal Perez, the Royals catcher. Hopefully he's in the lineup at plus 230. That is my second home run pick.
Okay. Back to you, Kenny Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rafi Devers here of the Boston Red Sox. He hasn't homered in 7 days, so some would say he's due. He comes up to the plate with that big hunk of chew in his mouth. So hopefully I'll do something for him today. I love Rafi Devers. Well, something for sure. I mean, every time he hits, he's got, half of his mouth filled with the chew. So hopefully I'll do something for him today. He's going up against Merrill Kelly. Pretty good matchup. Good hitters ballpark. Rafi Devers.
All right. I'm not going to take Bobby Witt Jr. here with pick number 2. Instead, I'm going to stick with the theme. Austin Gonbers. 2 hits yesterday from Jazz Chisholm Jr. fresh off the IL. Plus 420 to hit a home run. Banking one to right field in that spot. I'm feeling the Jazz today. Give me a Jazz Chisholm home run. Plus 420.
I'm kind of torn. All right, let me just ask you: are you going to pick Bobby Witt with your next pick? Because I was going to add him. No, I was going to take him as a pivot in case Perez is in the lineup, so we can kind of get that out of the way now. Although the lineups for that game, 2:10 Eastern start, should come out before we get done here. So you know what? If you want to take him, I'll leave it up to you. If you don't take him, then I've got my pivot in case Sal Perez is not in the lineup for whatever reason. Although lefty on the mound, I couldn't tell you if he was in the lineup both yesterday and Friday. Hopefully he's in there. Third pick for me, I'm a little torn here. I'm looking at this Rangers-Guardians game, and I want to bet against Cody Bradford, the lefty for Texas, because he's given up 5 home runs in 43 innings pitched this year, and the lineup is out for Cleveland. And, man, I'm torn. I don't know if I want to go with Jose Ramirez, who'll be batting from the right side against Bradford. And to be honest here, I wasn't entirely sure here, and I'm looking up his splits against lefties this year. He's got 12 home runs against lefties, Jose Ramirez, so there's my pick. Jose Ramirez, who's in the 3 spot today. And how about this? He's already faced Bradford this year, and he took him deep in one of his 3 at-bats. So there you go. Jose Ramirez to go deep, and the odds on that are plus, you think this would be easier, plus 360. Sorry about that. Jose Ramirez plus 360 to go deep off the lefty Bradford, who he's already taken Yaya this year. There you go.
All right, this segment couldn't get clunkier. Kenny, pick number 3 for you.
Well, every week when I do this, guys, I write down kind of some of the guys I like. I usually like to put a few extra guys, but I just did 3. But it was Rafi Devers, Gunnar, and then the last one I just put whatever Yankee doesn't get picked, because I think that the team's going to hit a few home runs today. They got crushed yesterday. Austin Gomber not very good, so I'm going to go with Giancarlo Stanton. I know, Sean, you took a few lefties going up against the lefty in that lefty-lefty matchup. I like Stanton. You already took Judge, so I'm going to take Stanton as my last pick.
All right, that's totally fine. I respect it. Now, lastly for me, over the last 20 days, the Atlanta Braves have hit 11 home runs and scored 31 runs, 5th most homers, 6th most runs against lefties. All right. Today, they are facing DJ Hers. What? From the Washington Nationals. That didn't make any sense. Hers stinks, giving up a ton of homers lately. Nationals stink, giving up a ton of homers lately. Look, I'm going to lay it off the glass here, and I'm going to take Marcell Ozuna plus 300 here to Whitey Herzog one out of the park here. All right?
That's not
DJ.
The Hers punt ain't happening.
It's not. Maybe if this wasn't Sunday and it was Hers Day, Ozuna would take him deep, and that's exactly what I'm going to go. How about that? By the way, if he ever gets good, Washington, you could use that Hers Day. You know what I mean? Every time he pitches, call it Hers Day. That's all right. Dingbat.
Lock me in for a Bobby Witt Jr. pivot in case Sal Perez is not in the lineup.
Okay. Wait, by the way, I did all that and didn't take Bobby Witt Jr. How witty of me. How witty.
Wait, we're allowed to pivot even if they're both in the lineup, or?
No.
Or,
He said
or are you just saying
if.
Perez is out? Oh, if he's out, okay.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Got it, Kenny? I think
Kenny,
this is a
by the
fun little
way,
segment. Yeah.
I love Kenny. I can't stand when people call Stanton Giancarlo. It's
It's
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
Oh, my bad.
Giancarlo.
See,
Yeah, enjoy your Italian
I'll-
beef and your weird hot dogs in Chicago, but he's Giancarlo, all right?
for sure. I'll make sure to
Okay.
fix that for next time.
For next time? There's one show left, Kenny. Get it right now or never get it right.
I'll pick them
So
next.
have a
I'll
hold
pick 'em
your
next
peace.
week. I'll pick them
Oh.
next week.
Will you? Will you?
Yeah, already marked
Who do
me
the
down
Yankees
for 'em
play next week, next Sunday? Huh? Tell me that. Riddle me that, Batman.
I have no idea. I'm gonna guess Blue
The St.
Jays.
Louis Cardinals. And Giancarlo will be sitting next Sunday. You can book it. Do the math on days
right,
he
we'll
sits.
see.
We will see. We will see.
Jeez.
I'm done being an
Being
arrogant
mean.
jerk for no reason. What? Huh?
Hey, being mean to the kid.
I know. I love Kenny. By the way, for anybody listening who thinks I'm mean, I'm really not. I just like messing with people. And that's okay. All right, when we come back, your last hot takes and hot cakes, because I haven't heard any exit music because Kenny's been too busy talking. And then we will, of course, have our best bets of the day to close out hour number 3. We'll be back. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend. We'll be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Your BetQL Sunday service starts now. With Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM. All right, we've done a ton of college football. We just gave out our home run bets as well. We have a Sunday scary, a degeneration bets, a GTFO, and oh yeah. I mean, we have a little bit of everything left. The Patty's Beefcake Boil bet. We talked about Nick Saban. I mean, check it all out in podcast form. Man, you know, I got to tell you too, social media is rough. I just went to check quickly. My last stat mentioned you're still fat. So that's nice. People are really friendly out there. Everybody enjoying a good little end of summer weekend. There we have it. There we have it, Pat. People are great. People are great. I tell you, you know, anybody ever dreams of working in radio, you know, I can think of no better place than to go work in the New York market where, you know, everybody's just really, really nice. Everybody's really nice and sweet to you. Just don't ever say anything bad about their teams. Otherwise, you're fat. So that's just the preemptive comment. Pat, how are you? You ready for a big hour number 3?
Yeah, I'm ready to fire off. I'm ready to empty the clip here on some U.S. Open bets for just tomorrow.
Ooh.
I'm not even going to go for Tuesday. So I know a lot of people, I got to wait for Tuesday. I got to wait for this. Don't worry. I got a handful of bets just for tomorrow's action that I'm ready to fire off. So if you want to go first for hot takes and hot cakes, and then I can follow whatever you want to do, because I feel like if you give me the floor first, I'm gonna end up talking for 10 straight minutes.
All right. So I'll take the floor first. It's hot takes and hot cakes with Harry Butt Cheeks.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
All right. Yesterday was an aggravating day for gamblers, if you're just joining us, because you might have thought week 0, good chance to pad the account, and you might have looked at some favorites. I luckily stayed away from Florida State, but there were some other things that went awry, including SMU, Hawaii, not covering the big numbers that were projected to cover. Over-under numbers were all afray. I say that to say that you need to pivot and look ahead to week 1. And you need to reset your mindset and think about everything you were thinking about betting, or even if you hadn't thought about it. What am I looking into in this crystal ball? What am I looking that I can kind of take advantage on that I missed out on week 0? There has got to be some dogs out there that it makes all the sense in the world to cover. And maybe you're going to be a little uncomfortable betting programs you have zero ilch about, okay? And you have no idea about. For the most part, that's college football. Who are you kidding? But I am circling the drain and circling on something I've been circling for 3 weeks. And I think yesterday, even though it shouldn't, and I'm going to understand and tell you that what happens in a New Mexico game or an SMU Nevada game or Delaware State and Hawaii should have no impact in literally what you think. I have to lean this way. 10 points still is the spread. It's fluctuated. I saw it 8.5 at one point. 10 points is still the spread for the Mountaineers at home versus Penn State. They are preseason picked 7 in the Big 12. But West Virginia was hot at the end of last year. Neil Brown won 5 of the last 6, finished 9-4, got themselves into a bowl game. He was in the hot seat at that point. Now he gets a home game, and that is in Morgantown is crazy for home games. You're going to have, obviously, a spot where you bring in Penn State in. That crowd is going to be electric, okay? And they don't need the gimmicks like a whiteout or anything like that. So a 9-win season last year. Now, obviously, they're, here in the Big 12 with a new-look Big 12. It will return 3 leading rushers in the ground, including their quarterback, Garrett Green. Obviously, the running backs, Jaheim White, C.J. Donaldson. I mean, they had 28 touchdowns combined on the ground a year ago. Also, being on the ground and knowing that that's where they score their points and they grind it out, a little rush offense, that means you probably think they're going to have some drives where they sustain some clock as well, which could bring a number back to it. I'm saying all this to say, I don't think that West Virginia necessarily officially wins the game, but I think Penn State is going to sweat this out on Saturday for the better part of that noon window. This game does in many ways remind me of a game, I think it'll be lower scoring, but last year in that week 1 window with TCU and Colorado where our eyeballs were glued as games went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think you're going to have a very tight, sweated out Penn State game where I don't think they cover a double-digit spread. So my hot cake to start hour number 3 is I'm going to learn from yesterday's underdogs covering. Give me the Mountaineers plus 10 and making James Franklin and the Nittany Lions sweat Saturday at noon. And while most of us will be all amped up and focused on Georgia Clemson, I think I've given this away enough. I do like Georgia laying the 14 points. And I think by that late third quarter, fourth quarter, America, if you're into these noon games, Eastern time, you're going to be locked into West Virginia, Penn State, wondering if West Virginia is about to pull off the upset at home. Give me the Mountaineers plus 10, my hot cake to start hour number 3.
I like it, Shawnee. I really do. I'm going to try, just to be totally transparent here with you, I'm going to do my best to probably try to stay away from that game. But if there is a side I'm betting, it is going to be West Virginia. But, again, I talked about this on Friday night on BetMGM tonight. I would rather, especially next Saturday, where you're going to have a million games and you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to feel like you want to get a bet every single game, or not every single game, but you want to go to put $10 here, $10 there, $10 here. Ooh, actually, all right, $20 here, maybe a parlay, maybe a teaser. Like, instead of betting 70% of your bankroll, 70% of your money on games that you really have conviction in, and 30% of the games that you just want to bet for fun, just to have some action on, just save all your money for games that you feel really strongly about. If you have one parlay, don't be making up 2, 3, 4 parlays here. So that's my feeling. Now, you feel like you sound really convicted in West Virginia. So if you do,
I am.
Then by all means, go ahead. I'm just, as a warning for other bettors out there, because like I said, my thoughts on it are, I don't really feel strongly about it. I don't know if I can trust West Virginia. I would have liked it better at 10.5. I missed the 10.5. So there you go. So I don't know if I want to go ahead and bet the 8.5, but that's just my opinion. That's my feelings on it. And there's going to be plenty of other games where, you as a bettor are going to be looking at this slate and you're going to be like, ooh, yeah, I am maybe. Okay, no, like just bet the couple of games or just bet the one game on Saturday. There's nothing wrong with just betting one game. If you feel really strongly in one game above the rest, better to go 1-0 than it is to go 2-2 or 2-3. So that's just my thoughts. I'll get off my high horse now and I'll give you some tennis bets here because that's, just shut up, Pat. Just give us the sport that you watch every day. All right, you got it. Sure.
Low horse.
All right, without getting too in the weeds on the analysis of why I think is what's going to happen here, I'm going to give you maybe a sentence or two on each, but I've got 5 bets just for tomorrow. If I have that label listed out here correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I got 6 bets for you. Okay. And again, in case you miss any of this, if you're at home and you're trying to keep up with these names that sound like wingdings or hieroglyphics here, or if you're driving, obviously I guess you could pull over to make a bet, but if you're driving, don't worry. In case you miss any of this, free Odyssey app. You can rewind. You can catch all the bets. You can pause it. You can slow it down. You can go have BetMGM open while you're looking for these, so it can make it very, very easy for you. All right, let's start off with the big lefty Ben Shelton, going up against Dominic Thiem, who won the U.S. Open in 2020. And man, sad to see where Dominic Thiem's career has gone. He's going to retire in like a month or two. They gave him a wild card. I mean, I get it. I don't think he got a wild card at the French Open. Which like that would have been the spot to give him a wild card. Now the U.S. Open's giving him a wild card, and I feel like this is kind of a waste because he's probably either going to retire in the match because of an injury, or he's just going to get
can I ask you this? Yeah, I see where you're going, and I have to ask: does this smell like team spirit?
Good one. Yeah, and they played here last year, and everybody thought maybe this was the spot where Thiem could resurrect his career. He lost in a tiebreak, and then he retired from the match in the second set. So hopefully he finishes this match, and if he does, I mean, again, his tennis days are basically over. He hasn't even tried to play any matches on a hard court here in the last several months. So give me Ben Shelton minus the 6.5 games here on the game spread. I think this is one-way traffic. I think he crushes them here if they do end up playing this match and Thiem plays it all the way through. So Shelton minus 6.5 games. That's minus 145 on BetMGM. He's just got too good of a serve. He's been playing pretty damn well. And again, Thiem hasn't played a match in a month, hasn't played on a hard court since January. So there's one for you. Next bet I like. This is a bit higher odds, so this is just a couple of shekels for me, not a ton. Yuri Lehechka, young kid from the Czech Republic who's got a gigantic serve, and I think maybe could be a dark horse in terms of if you want to put $5 on him to win the U.S. Open. I might do that, but probably not. But still, I really like his future. To win 3-1, so he's got to win in 4. He's got to win in 4 sets, going up against the veteran Marton Fucsovics from Hungary. I think Lehechka wins the match, but I think Fucsovics has been playing a little bit well enough where he probably takes a set and you get a little bit of drama in this one. But I think Lehechka's got too much talent, so I can see this being a 4-set win for him. Maybe he, loses the first set and then crushes him the next 3, or he wins the first 2 and then Fucsovics snakes in a set there because he usually doesn't give up and he fights to the end. But Lehechka to win 3-1. That's plus 310 on BetMGM. That's under set betting. All right, next one for you. Max Kasanowski, young Polish kid who's kind of just burst onto the scene, hasn't really made a name for himself yet, but he's just red hot, just got through qualifying with some really impressive wins. Going up against Pedro Martinez, a clay quarter, and Kasanowski is it's a pick 'em basically. He's minus 110 on the money line. I'm taking him. I'm rolling with him here, and especially what I've been hearing, the Cincinnati Masters played, it was like glass. Like the court was so fast and slick. It was unbelievable. And I heard that the U.S. Open is expected to play a lot faster than it has in years past. So that is a huge disadvantage to Pedro Martinez, who stinks on fast hard courts, needs it to be slow clay. So give me the young Pole, Max Kasanowski, minus 110 on the money line. Another one that I like, here's an underdog special for you. Thiago Seyboth, it's spelled Seyboth Wild. It's pronounced Seyboth, but Thiago Seyboth Wild. If you're just reading it, you want to find it easy to find here. To take a set versus Andrei Rublev. That's plus 100 on BetMGM. So you go under handicaps or totals on BetMGM. Player 2 to win a set. That's Seyboth Wild. Plus 100 on BetMGM. I think he could win. I honestly, I'm probably going to put $5 on him to upset Andrei Rublev, who has had a disaster of a season. And they played each other at the Australian Open earlier this year, and it went 5 sets. So Seyboth Wild is plus 700 on the money line, plus 600 on BetMGM. He's going to get a $5 bet for me or a $10 bet on that one as well. They went 5 sets at the Australian Open. Rublev has not been good. So I think these odds are way off here. I think you're just getting a classic, this guy's a top 6 player in the world, so we're going to price him as such. No way. This match should be way closer than that. So for him to take a set at plus money, I'm jumping all over it. 2 more for you. Here's the names that are really going to throw you off. Giovanni and Petchy Perricard and Tomas Martin Echeverry. How about that? That's a mouthful. Petchy Perricard and Echeverry to play 5 sets. These are 2 guys that are struggling lately. And Petchy Pericard, huge French guy. He's got a massive bomb of a serve. So that alone, I think, gets you a lot of games. Echeverry, really good from the baseline. But he has struggled lately and doesn't necessarily particularly do well on fast courts. So again, if the U.S. Open is playing as fast as I think it will, plus he has he's gone the distance, Echeverry, in his last 3 matches leading up to the U.S. Open. And again, both these guys kind of struggling. Petchy Pericard had a huge surprise run at Wimbledon. He got all the way to the round of 16. He's got a big serve, but I think this is going to be 1-1, and then somebody will take a 2-1 lead, and just these guys have struggled for confidence, so they're going to struggle to put each other away. I think it's going 5 sets, so that's plus 195 odds. And then last but not least, what I think is going to be one-way traffic is Jan-Lennard Struff. Struff to cover the 5.5 games against Laszlo Djere. Not entirely. I'm going to probably look to fade Struff if he plays Djokovic in round 2. I got to see, he's been battling an injury here. He pulled out of the Olympics and then has only played 1 match on the hard courts leading up to the U.S. Open, and he was a set-up on Tsitsipas and kind of choked. So I'm not sure what kind of state he's in, but Djere's been absolutely brutal this year, and he just lost to a guy ranked outside the top 100 in the tournament last week. So I don't think he's anywhere near 100%. So I don't trust Struff to win 3-0, but I think you get one lopsided set in there that he at least does the job and wins this match, and then we'll see if his body can hold up or if he goes out like a whimper against Djokovic in round 2. But Struff minus 5.5 games against Djere, minus 135 on BetMGM. There you go, Shawnee. Let's hear. What do you got? Go ahead. Fire off a joke.
I mean, I just can't believe Pedro Martinez is playing tennis now. I cannot believe it. I can't get over it. Pat, I would encourage you, obviously, I know you're not silly. Give out your Twitter handle for everybody right now.
Yes, PapWill44. I'll post these bets on Twitter as well, so in case you miss them.
I would. I think we got meandered and lost there. There was a lot of good info there, but for us who want to just bet the racket, as they say, and make a racket, as they say, going to Pat Boyle 44 is where you should find those. Guys, it's GTFO or oh yeah for the second to last time this year. What are we going to do? We're going to do the segment like men. We come back. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Let's go.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of minus 2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send it in.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. The sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. I'm Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. Presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Every week around 11:20 Eastern, 8:20 a.m. Pacific on Sundays, we present to you GTFO. Yeah, a little cleanup, if you will, on sports takes, opinions, gambling, all of that alike. And we'll tell you whether we should GTFO or oh yeah with that statement. Patty Boyle, are you ready for the beat?
I'm more than ready.
All right, let's do it. It's GTFO or oh yeah.
It's now time for GTFO or oh yeah.
All right, yesterday, Florida State upset in Dublin, Ireland by Georgia Tech. We've been talking about that game all morning long. The number 10 Florida State Seminoles will lose at least 2 more games this year. Pat Boyle, GTFO or oh yeah?
That's an oh yeah for me, and I don't want to get caught up in overreacting here to yesterday's loss. Again, massive credit to Brent Key and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. They had a game plan, tough environment there in neutral field in Dublin. They got it done. But Florida State, I mean, come on. This is I think DJU is washed. So unless he all of a sudden proves to me that he's not, and yesterday did nothing to do that, couldn't push the ball down the field, picked up, again, half of his 193 yards through the air basically on their last drive. So Georgia Tech's got a solid defense. Florida State's going to face better defenses than that the rest of this year. And not that Memphis or SMU are powerhouses, but I can see them slipping up against those teams as bad as SMU looked yesterday. And then again, on top of that, Florida State's got to play Clemson, Grant, I believe that's at home. I don't think that's a neutral site. Could see them losing that game. Miami on the road, could see them losing that game. If Notre Dame does not destroy them, if Notre Dame doesn't beat them, that's an epic disaster, and that tells you where Notre Dame is at. So, yeah, I could see Florida State losing 3 more games this year. So if you ask me if I think they can lose 2 more games, yeah, and then close the year with Florida.
We'll see where they are.
You think so? Yeah, you're asking me. I think they can lose 2 more games. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm oh yeah too. I mean, this team feels like they're on the highway to Norvell after that game yesterday. I also think that was a joke, Patty. I also think that they're going to be an incredibly frustrating team gambling wise because you mentioned all those games, right? Like Clemson, the Miami game, Notre Dame, go on and on and on. I'm kind of with you, man. I think they're going to lose another one of these dumb games, whether it's SMU or North Carolina. But they also are inevitably going to, maybe they beat Clemson, end the year beating Florida. They will be a team inevitably you lose money when you bet on them. They're Charger-like, right? And lose money betting against them, where they're going to win a game where suddenly you're like, wait, now you're giving me the Florida State performance that everybody expected, and then obviously lose another one of these clunker games. So I'm oh yeah, but I'm also oh yeah with the understanding of it may not be the games you think they're going to lose, if that makes sense. GTFO or oh yeah, Georgia Tech will win the ACC. GTFO. They had their moment in Dublin. Good for them. That is a team that could not get quick strikes to save their lives. I'm good on the Yellow Jackets, by the way. The next time I think a Yellow Jackets will be a success will be season 3 on Paramount.
Wow, how about that one? Yeah, it's GTFO for me, but I don't want to. I mean, you kind of disrespected Brent Key and what he's done there. I mean, he took over 2 years ago, went 4-4. Then last year they go, what was it, 7-5 or 7-6? Yeah. I think by next year, this team, we might be thinking dark horse to win the ACC. Just not yet. They're not there. They're not there yet. They do have kind of a favorable schedule if you look ahead. They play Notre Dame, and again, Irish should absolutely win that game. But they play them at home, and their other ranked game this year against Miami also at home. So, then they play NC State at home too. All 3 ranked ACC / Notre Dame opponents, they play them at home. I could see Georgia Tech winning 8 games, 8-4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's worth a bet on them to win the ACC. So it's GTFO for me.
I was also told that yesterday Georgia Tech came up with an original song in the locker room that they pumped themselves up to before beating Florida State. It sounded like this: we will shamrock you in Ireland as they won that game. GTFO or oh yeah. Another top 10 college football team will lose in week 1. Oof, I've picked West Virginia here to cover the points, but I kind of feel like that's just a straight cover, and Penn State's going to figure it out the way SMU figured it out versus Nevada last night in covering a tight spread, but still winning the game. I'm going to say no, GTFO. I think all top 10 teams left, the other 9 teams, will all win their week 1 matchup, Pat.
I'm going to say, oh, yeah. And I hope, I pray. I don't believe in a God, so whatever. But I don't pray. I hope Notre Dame wins. I'm starting to get really nervous about this game next week. But I could see them losing. They're 3-point dogs. The odds will tell you. The odds will tell you that a top 10 team will lose. So I hope it's not Notre Dame. I hope it's Penn State. I hope you win your bet, Shawnee, and I hope West Virginia moneyline outright bettors also win. But I'm going to say between Penn State and Notre Dame, probably one of them will lose. So I'm going to go, oh, yeah.
Man, Patty, I wish you had a little more confidence in Notre Dame here. I really do.
I don't know, man. I've been making fun of the Big Bad 12th man of Kyle Field. I've been making fun of Texas A&M here, but we're 6 days out, and now the nerves are hitting me. And I don't care about the line movement. I'm not surprised it's gone up to a field goal spread in terms of A&M. I'm going to do my best to not bet this game because I can't bet against Notre Dame. I don't know why. I don't know why I have such a fanboy fandom with Notre Dame. I didn't even get into the freaking school. Cried on my couch for like 6 hours straight when I was 17. But I also can't bet on them. Because it's going to be double the heartbreak if I bet on them and they lose. So, but I'm getting nervous, man. We're 6 days out, and I got bad vibes about it.
All right, GTFO or oh yeah, Clemson will miss the college football playoffs. Boy, Pat, this is a tough one for me. I'm going to say GTFO from the standpoint of somebody's got to win the ACC. I'm writing off Florida State. I already like Florida next week to beat Miami. Can NC State be that sneaky team? I guess. I mean, Louisville, I guess. I don't buy SMU after yesterday. I still don't buy Georgia Tech. I think by default, Clemson will win the ACC and get into the college football playoff, even after taking a thumping in week 1.
I want to say GTFO, and I want to say, you know what, this is the year North Carolina State is like the surprise package, and they build off of what they did last year, and that they make a run to the college football playoff, and they win the ACC because I don't think the conference is good, and I like what Dave Doran has done with that squad there, and they bring in Grayson McCall, and they bring in a bunch of other guys from the transfer portal. I kind of agree, and I kind of feel crappy for agreeing here and just.
I agree with you that I agree. It's crappy.
Yeah, but I think by default, after what I saw from Florida State yesterday, and I do not trust Cristobal in Miami. I think Clemson wins the ACC and they get in.
I'm going to be honest with you. The next 4 in a row, I'm just going to tell you my answer prefaces, and I'll explain, is going to be a GTFO. And I think that if your answer is anything but GTFO, you're lying to the audience. So let's start it off. Shohei Ohtani will hit more home runs than Aaron Judge this season. Judge has 8 more homers than him right now. That's a big-time GTFO for me, Pat. I mean, it'd be nice if you weren't muted. I mean, that'd be cool.
The only chance that it happens is if Judge gets hurt, like today. So I'm not speaking that into existence. I'm just letting you know the only chance that Ohtani has to hit more home runs than Judge is if Judge gets hurt. So it's an absolute GTFO. That's a dumb question.
Very dumb question. Here's another dumb question. The Cowboys will have the best scoring defense in the NFC East this season. Deron Bland obviously injured. Look, they were a year ago. I'm going to say big-time GTFO. I know that sounds weird, scoring defense, Give me the Eagle defense still, even though they have weakness at corners. And Dan Quinn, remember, is now the head coach. He was the D coordinator in Dallas. It's a big loss. Could Washington sneak in there? I think the Cowboys step back defensively. I'm going to say GTFO.
Yeah, I mean, I still like Mike Zimmer and what he has done as a defensive coordinator. You know, the intensity that he brings. Just because Deron Bland is out doesn't mean that the Cowboys don't still have an unbelievably lethal pass rush with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. This is oh yeah for me. I disagree with you here, Shawnee. I don't think just because you draft Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell that all of a sudden the Eagles secondary is going to be not a sieve, not a disaster like it was last year. It's not going to be as bad, but it's also they're not going to be the best scoring defense in the NFC East. That will still belong to the Cowboys and the Giants defense, which I did think took a gigantic step forward. Adding Brian Burns, I think their pass rush is going to be really, really good. Their secondary is very suspect. Yeah, the secondary is suspect, and Washington. Again, they don't have the pass rush they used to have. They have a very young secondary, so I think it's Dallas. I think, I disagree with you here.
All right. The Steelers will name Justin Fields the starter over Russell Wilson. Big-time GTFO. It feels like, and I know Tomlin said yesterday they're going to name it at the end of the work week. It feels like all signs are Russell Wilson. I think it's a big-time GTFO. I think they're going to get cute and use Justin Fields at times with weird packages, kind of college football-esque, but it'll be Russell Wilson that starts the year for the Steelers.
Yeah, I would have. I was really high on Justin Fields going into this preseason, and not that I don't want to put too much stock into preseason, but he fumbled. I think, if I remember correctly, seeing that yesterday, he fumbled another snap. He had the 2 botched snaps a couple weeks ago. He hasn't done anything to put him over the top. That job was there for the taking. Russell Wilson, strained calf, didn't play in the preseason opener. Justin Fields, I thought could take the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs this year. I still think there is a chance of that happening. But in terms of, the question, who's going to be the starting quarterback, Russell Wilson started it yesterday, threw 2 passes, completed them both. Tomlin's going to play it safe, and he's going to go with Russell Wilson, which I thought was going to happen all along. So if Russ stinks, which I do think he does, Justin Fields will have his time to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers, but they're going to play it conservative. They're going to play it safe, not to start the year. So GTFO, the Steelers will name Justin Fields the starter.
All right, GTFO or Carlos Alcaraz won't make the U.S. Open final? GTFO, Pat. Alcatraz.
This is a GTFO for me, but it's not it's not a total GTFO. The main reason is if there's no major upsets, he's going to play Jannik Sinner, the number one player in the world, again in the semifinals. So Djokovic got the dream draw out of this. He gets to avoid both of those guys and play most likely Zverev in the semis. Sinner, again, big news. If you're a big tennis fan, Jannik Sinner basically got popped for steroids here, Shawnee. That was a huge controversy here over the last couple of days. Got popped for steroids back in March and appealed it. Then basically had another positive test for close to ball again a couple days later. The tournament that he won,
it was all over.
Appealed it and won. They found out, or what the investigation found out, was that his trainer used had close to ball in a spray, in like an anti-cut spray that he used.
Isn't that insane? I saw that. It was insane with the spray.
Basically, I think he got, I don't know, animal wound. That's what it said. Used a spray for that, and then giving him massages through, I guess, a cut in Sinner's legs or whatever. They found 1/1000th of a gram. So again, I think if you read out the facts here, it's pretty obvious that he's innocent, but a big controversy because other tennis players have been popped for things similar to this, and they basically have had their careers ruined by it. But even on top of that, Sinner's got a bad hip, and it's kind of been bothering him for the last 4 months, and he was able to win the Cincinnati Masters with it. I bet Tiafoe last Monday on You Better You Bet to beat him. Couldn't get it done. But I think over a best-of-5 tournament, and if he gets all the way to the semis and plays Alcaraz, the battles that they have, and Alcaraz kind of like rolled his ankle yesterday in his training practice. So there's, again, I don't want to get too far into the weeds and read too much into tennis stuff in terms of the injuries, because a lot of the times it ends up being nothing more than it is. But I just don't think Alcaraz, if he plays Sinner in the semis, I think he beats him again because he probably outlasts him. So I will say GTFO, and I think Alcaraz makes the U.S. Open final again.
Never trust the son of a sinner. That's all I will say. Never trust it. All right, GTFO, or oh yeah, last one. After trading for Jahan Dotson, the Eagles have the best receiving core in football. Let me just say this. They may. I'm still going to say GTFO because I think any receiving core that starts, obviously, with Justin Jefferson and adds Jordan Addison, I don't care who their third is. Justin Jefferson's that much more special than everybody else. I would go GTFO. But Jahan Dotson wouldn't settle that for me at all. I mean, look, failed Washington quarterback centers. I'm sure it'd be fine for the Eagles, but I'm not crazy on Jahan Dotson putting the Eagles over the top.
Yeah, and the receiving core just has to be receivers, or are we including the tight end? Because I still think that Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and either Jawan Jennings or Ricky Pearsall, who we haven't seen this year, still are a better trio than Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson's good. He's a nice player, but, I mean, come on. We're acting like all of a sudden Jahan Dotson's like an all-pro or Pro Bowl here?
Kenny brings up a good point. Houston is freaking Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's better than what the Eagles have, too.
Yeah, exactly. And let's calm down with Chicago. Keenan Allen's a corpse, and let's make sure Roma Dunze is good first. All right. When we come back, our best bets of the day. Got a Sunday scary, going to blow your socks off. Okay, Patty's got a beef bet. Let's see what kind of beef he has to stir up. And we have degeneration bets. We close out the show with our best bets next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker,
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. The sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, our final little pajama party, comes your way next week as we react to everything that happened in college football's week 1 on Saturday, and we wake up Sunday morning to digest it all and look ahead, of course, to LSU and USC next Sunday night, and of course the NFL season about to begin. We're going to be jam-packed football next week with a little dingbat in the mix as well. If you missed any of the show, go check it out in podcast form, of course. Download the Odyssey app, search 5-Star Weekend BetQL. We're all there, baby. We're all there. All right. We got beefs. We got scaries. We got degenerates. let's start it off with degeneration bets.
I might be a year older, I might be a little grayer, but at the end of the day, I'm still a degenerate.
Degenerate bets, baby. Patty, I believe you're taking a live game that started at 11:30 Eastern. Am I right? So you give it first.
Yes. Well, I was going to ask you to give it first because there may or may not be a goal being scored as we speak here in the Liverpool-Brentford game. So if you can, give me a minute and a half.
Sure. All right. So it's our last chance, NFL preseason. We have 3 games on the board today starting at 2 o'clock. I'm looking a little mid here. So we're getting a game in New Orleans with the Titans and Saints. That's your highest total at 37.5. Obviously, those games indoors, missed tackles, who knows what can happen. But I'm looking at 2 teams that haven't been able to block on their first team, let alone their second team, let alone their third team, and that's the Patriots and Commanders. And I can tell you from watching a lot of bad preseason football that if you can't block up front with your third team, it leads to little amount of points being scored. That's what the Patriots and Commanders present us with today, with a 36.5 point total. It's preseason football. Maybe you're sweating in the fourth quarter, but I'm taking the under 36.5 between 2 bad third-string O-lines in the Patriots and Commanders today, Pat. Even if you get some points early, don't fret. The second half is going to be lacking for scoring. Under 36.5 Patriots Commanders in Washington today. Pat, to you.
Yep, so there was a goal scored. How about that? Liverpool up 1-0 in the 13th minute. Luis Diaz scores. I was going to take the under. Now I like the under even more in terms of you get an extra goal on top of it. The odds were great about a minute ago. All right, you know what? Screw it. I'm still going to go here. If you can get the under 4.5 at a decent price, Liverpool, Brentford, English Premier League, if you can get under 4.5 at a decent price, take it. It's minus 175 right now on BetMGM. For me, any bet that's like over minus 150, I usually try to stay away from. Just too much juice as a bettor. Again, you're almost losing 2 bets in one just as principle there. But if you're feeling frisky, I didn't think there was going to be 4 goals. I certainly don't think there's going to be 5. I was honestly stunned to see this pregame over-under at 3.5. I mean, I know Liverpool's got a great offense, great attacking, and Brentford had 3-goal game with Crystal Palace last week to open up the season. The last 4 times these teams have played each other, you had 5 goals, 3 goals, 1 goal, 4 goals, 3 goals. So they usually do have a decent amount of goals between them. But, I mean, again, I was stunned that it was 3.5 before the match. So you know what? I'm even still probably going to put a couple of dollars on the under 3.5 at plus 135 now because Liverpool, they get an early goal. That works in my favor because they're the favorite. They're at home. Not that they're going to stop attacking, but Liverpool a little bit more inclined to shut up shop defensively and make sure that they take care of that. And then if Brentford decides to start pushing forward and tries to counterattack, or if Liverpool counterattacks them, maybe you get a second goal right before half. But the favorite team at home scores the opening goal. I still think that can lean towards the under. So under 4.5 minus 175 on BetMGM, but the pregame was under 3.5. It's plus 135. I still think that this could finish 2-1 or even 3-0 in Liverpool's favor if they go out and crush Brentford. So there you go.
Okay. All right. There you have it. Now, Pat, we keep checking off boxes. I'm ready to give you a Sunday Scary.
The weekend is almost over, but there's still time to place just one more bet. Don't panic. There's still time to win it all back. It's time for the Sunday Scaries.
Boy, does this segment fit even more today. If you dug yourself a little bit of a hole in week 0 in college football, maybe you went a little too far with some of these bets and the dogs kept barking and maybe totals didn't keep hitting. I'm here to present you 5 legs, a little unprecedented. We're going to mix in a WNBA with some baseball stuff and figure out a way to get you back. I got 5 legs sitting at about 18-1, although the odds might have shifted to 17-1. Here we go. 2 legs presented from the same game. A Yankee-Rocky game we talked about plenty. Marcus Stroman versus Gromer. Who? What? That's a lot of runs, and the total is just 9 on a warm, humid day at Yankee Stadium. Give me over 9 runs. With that, I'm taking Aaron Judge to homer, baby. Patty picked him in Dingbat. He didn't homer yesterday. He's just an absolute machine. Give me Aaron Judge as part of that over 9 to also homer. That's 2 legs down. Pick number 3, the WNBA season continues to wind down here. I mean, the Las Vegas Aces are a machine. They visit Angel Reese, Chicago Sky. They're laying 8.5 points. The Aces are going to put on a show. They're going to be up for this game today. Give me them laying the 8.5 points. Another big baseball game today, the Diamondbacks and Red Sox. Tanner Houck versus Merrill Kelly. Give me the over 4.5 Ks. I think that the Diamondback starter will fan at least 5 Red Sox in this game. I like that sneaky low number on a strikeout total over 4.5 Ks. That's going to be a lot of juice. You're going to want to play that in a parlay anyway. And then finally, I'm going alt strikeouts in the Royal Philly game, warm afternoon, Kansas City. Seth Lugo, who has had a machine of a year for the Royals. Give me him to strike out 5 or more Phillies this afternoon. So again, over 9 runs, Rockies, Yankees. Aaron Judge to homer in that game. Merrill Kelly over 4.5 Ks versus the Red Sox for the D-backs today. Seth Lugo 5 or more Ks for the Royals. And in the WNBA, the Aces, to lay the points, 8.5 at the Chicago Sky, 18-1, 5 legs. Enjoy it, cash it, win it, baby. Patty, to you.
Bang. Bang. I like when anytime I say bang now, it's like an automatic double bang, a double Mike Breen bang for me.
Yeah. Well, you're a double bang kind of guy. Look at
How
that.
about that?
Look at that. Kenny playing for a Christmas bonus.
Kenny, by the way, check is in the mail. Well, we'll leave it at that. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Pat, just put the fries in the bag here. I mean, geez.
Bag them up. Put the fries in the bag, kid. All right. So, like I said, Sean likes to make fun of Boyle's beef bet. I'm really upset this guy took a tennis racket, so kind of bet against him. Boyle's beef bet has been hitting at a staggering clip. Not only the last 6 months, but the last couple of weeks here. And last week we got a little luck of the Irish on our side. I said Stroman's turd. He had been pitching like a turd. So, and Tarek Skubal and the Tigers I think they were minus 120. I said, give me the Tigers. And the Yankees should have won that game. Stroman pitched well for the second straight time. But then Clay Holmes, Clay homeless in a couple of weeks. He keeps pitching the way he has. Blows the save. The Tigers walk it off. So the Tigers win it. Patty gets a little cash on that. And I'm going back to the Yankees here. And I'm going to have beef with Stroman if he decides to poop the bed here today. So he better give me 5 innings, 2-run ball at the worst, because it is Austin Gomber, as Sean called him a couple of minutes ago, Gromer. So you know what? I will have beef with Stroman. I will have beef with the Yankees here if they don't cash this. And even just watching the game, I didn't bet the game yesterday, but the Yankees roll out the red carpet for Old Timers Day. And then, I mean, they play like old timers. Just because it's Old Timers Day doesn't mean you need to play like one. Shawnee, did you like that? Shawnee hosted on WFAN yesterday. I did the update at the top of the hour. That was my lead-in to him.
You did. That was nice.
Yes.
You were very good about it. All 12 minutes I did on the air.
I thought I was going to get a plug. Great update, Pat Boyle, but I guess not.
I had 12 minutes of airtime to play with.
Okay, fair enough. So I will have beef, and the Yankees get steamrolled 9-2 by the Rockies on Old Timers Day. So, it's a pathetic performance. So I will have beef with them if they don't take care of business today. It's Boyle's beef bet.
Pat Boyle's beef bet of the week. I'm angry. I'm ready. I need to bet. It's Pat Boyle's beef bet of the week on the Bet.
Yeah, Yankees run line. I mean, come on. If you can't bounce back after that horrendous display yesterday and win this game by 2 or more runs against Austin Gomber. By the way, he has pitched decently well his last 2 times out. 6 innings, 2 runs at Arizona. 7 innings, 1 run at Washington. But come on. Yankee Stadium here, a day after the Yankees get embarrassed. Gomber still brings into this game a 4.64 ERA. Gives up a ton of bombs. He's given up 5 home runs in 23 innings pitched in August. Like, this should be tee him up and let him fly. This should be looking like the driving range for the Yankees today. more so than a baseball game. Balls should be flying into the seats left and right. Either one from Judgy, thank you very much. One from Giancarlo Stanton, as Kenny called him. Maybe you get one. Maybe you get one today from Volpe, the shortstop. Who knows? Maybe Juan Soto goes lefty off lefty and goes deep. But the Yankees on the run line, -130 on BetMGM. They better take care of business, Shawnee.
I like it, Pat. I like Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Stanton. Either way, Patty has found a way to manufacture some more beef, and he's only got one more left to prove it. And I think that's great. So full disclosure, next week, we will be closing out this run. BetQL will switch to their football season programming. You're going to see some of those shifts happening already Monday through Friday programming. The new You Better You Bet, I believe, launches tomorrow, which is exciting. Of course, you're going to have a new look BetMGM tonight. Noisy Huevos going to come over, do a good job there with Ryan Horvat. But for us, we will close out next Sunday following a full scope of Saturday college football, which we are all excited for, and a look ahead to the NFL season. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Kenny Gunnar Henderson. I want to thank Amir Tyree. And I want to thank Carter, I think is his name. I asked it 3 times, and I think I forgot. He was in for Dan today. Freeman. It was right. I nailed it, and I should have more confidence in my ability to understand the fine folks helping out. All right. When we come back, we won't be back. Something else will be on BetQL. But anyway, enjoy your Sunday, folks. As soon as I hear some kind of music and Kenny actually does his job, I'll know to get out. But he hasn't cranked that all morning long. So what's stopping us now? We'll see you next week, folks. Enjoy week 1 of college football.
You've been listening to the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM. If you missed any of the shows, listen back anytime on the new and improved Odyssey app.
Up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds? I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from